To the rave spot, keep the vibe strong, keep the party going till the break of dawn. From the warehouse to the rave spot, keep the vibe strong, keep the party going till the break of dawn. I'm a house head, I'm a raver, I'm a bass head, I'm a snow. Music my religion, it's a message from beyond. I'm a house head, I'm a raver, I'm a bass head, I'm a snow. Music my religion, it's a message from beyond. Just know your name. I was stacked out just to play your game. Yo, with my wordplay, check what I say.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the NA Pro Report. My name is Millicrit, here to bring you your weekly coverage of the biggest players and the biggest plays in North American Free Fire. It's a bit of a bittersweet moment in the tournament as our group stage has fully concluded. Our 24 group stage teams have battled it out across 4 weeks trying to earn points to continue their tournament runs. So don't fret, we have plenty of action left to go. Our last chance qualifier goes down this weekend and the grand finals after that, where we're playing for $50,000 and a first shot for NA in the Free Fire World Series. So definitely really exciting. Let's talk about the teams that are making it straight into the grand final. These are the top 8 squads from our Season 2 group stage that are skipping right over the LCQ to fight in the finals. Starting with Osaka in 8th place, holding the line for the top 8 just barely. Our returning Season 1 squad had some pretty decent performances and were able to pick up a couple of very nice games that put them just in the top 8. And remember, our grand finals resets all the points, so the group stage and LCQ don't matter. Once you are in the grand finals, everyone has a clean slate to perform at their highest level, so Osaka, definitely one of the squads to watch. In 7th place, we had USA Esports. They were a very good squad to watch, but in the middle of the tournament, they were definitely shaky with a 20-point game day at one point, not instilling confidence in me or really the rest of the Free Fire Pro Series scene. But they were able to pick it up and they were able to find their way into the top 8, so congratulations to them. I'm excited to see what they can do in the finals. In 6th place, we've got Club 9D falling a couple of ranks. A very consistent squad. I loved watching the way that they handled the rings, but unfortunately they didn't have a very kill-heavy playstyle, and right now the meta is definitely kills, kills, kills. So they were winning a lot, definitely, especially on Kalahari, where at one point they had a 100% win rate across 4 games. Absolutely insane. So we'll see if they can step it up a little bit in the kill department for the grand finals. They're going to have to step it up if they want to keep up with some of the top squads that we'll be seeing in that final. So Club 9D, congratulations. In 5th place, we got Virus Gaming. I had a lot of high expectations for Virus Gaming, and they definitely delivered. Starting off a little bit cooler than I expected, but in week 3, they stepped it up with 116 points in a single game day. The highest single game day performance out of any team in the tournament. Virus Gaming looked so hot on that weekend, and they will be rolling in hot to the grand finals. Congratulations, Virus Gaming. Atomic, with returning champ Abreu on that squad, was also looking really clean, and they needed a big week 4 to make sure that they cemented their spot straight into the finals. They did exactly that in week 4 off the back of not just Abreu, but we had some pretty nice games from Dax and of course their top kill leader Kills03 on that weekend. So congratulations to Atomic. I'm excited to see what they can do in the finals. Now we get to our top 3. We've talked about some of these squads quite a lot. Let's talk about Team 999, our 3rd place finisher. They had a lot of crazy game days, including at least one triple-digit finish. Mr. T and the crew had some crazy revive plays as well, taking full advantage of the revive mechanic that was added into our group stage. So Team 999, I'm really just curious to see how they're going to stack up once all of the top teams from all of the lobbies end up in the same place. In 2nd place, Fuego. Fuego kept it so hot throughout the tournament. Specifically in the win department, they were actually the top Booyah leaders for the entire tournament, pretty much until the end. They finished with 10 total Booyahs across the entire season. Congratulations, Fuego. A very explosive team to watch with a very clean play style that I think is going to have a lot of success in the grand finals. But in 1st place, sounding like a broken record at this point, beating a dead horse, whatever you want to call it, Pisar Esports. Just 1st place across the entire group stage. What more is there to say? There's no stat that I could pull up that could honestly top that, other than of course the fact that they were top killers throughout the entire tournament, and they have the top kill leader across the whole tournament as well with Adiel. So if that wasn't enough of an accolade, they were just picking it up throughout the entire tournament. They kept it not even close every time that they were in the lobby, dominating, finding wins, finding kills. The Sire Esports are returning Season 1 champions. We're just here to win again, and they might do exactly that in the grand finals. It looks like they are slated to do that. So let's check out how they progressed through the tournament and found some of these big plays on their way to the 1st place finish in the group stage.
They're also going to be getting backstabbed right here.
Yeah, Virus Gaming, long range now. There we go, DN Esports is down. Virus Gaming, who really did this one. Zari Esports, only one player left. Virus Gaming, one down.
It's a
to
push.
1v1 at this point. The push comes out.
Oh!
Third party that's get involved, it's going to be the best situation. But here comes the blue zone as well. All this happening outside of zone. PZR actually looks like they're kind of trying to disengage off of this. 2 of them are going to be going down up the stairs. No way, West B actually doing that all by himself there. Shut down PZR Esports. No way. 3 of them now up against 2. Down goes 1 into Jay. Let's see if he's going to be able to win this for the team or if this is going to be a PZR Esports game.
West B has had enough, and Pizan Esports has finally gotten their victory.
Now that we've gotten a chance to celebrate our top teams, we do unfortunately have to bid some teams goodbye. These are the bottom 4 teams that did not rack up enough points during the group stage to move on to the rest of the tournament stages. So we'll bid farewell to OG Wipe Gang, Tankas, Brothers YT, and Big Drip. So thank you all for joining us in the Free Fire Pro Series, but unfortunately it was just too stacked, and there was a lot of talent that ended up going by the wayside, will be eliminated, but we hope to see all of these teams return with a vengeance. There was a lot of talent, and I can't wait to see what they will do in the next season of the Free Fire Pro Series. That leaves us with our last chance qualifier teams. This weekend we have the last chance qualifier, the final opportunity for these teams to earn a spot in the grand finals to fight for that $50,000 prize pool and that shot at the Free Fire World Series as well. Reminder that there are 12 teams in the last chance qualifier and only 4 will earn a spot in the finals. So let's go through them real quick. Definitely a lot of names you're going to recognize. DN Esports, Navy Esports, IT Official, ZRJ, R15, Rambox Gaming, 1A Esports, Hags, La ONU, Zundel, SKB, and last but not least, Dual Kings. Be sure to tune in to all of those broadcasts live Saturday and Sunday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. 6 games per day. You don't want to miss it. This will be the last chance for you to watch some of these teams fight it out and try to stake their claim to the grand final slots. I hope to see you all there, and I'll catch you guys next week for the following report.
Hi Survivors, welcome to Season 2 of the Free Fire Pro Series. We're back to bring you more action, more talent, and even more booyahs for the best teams in North America. On top of a whopping $50,000 prize pool and the bragging rights of being crowned the FFPS Grand Champion, this season the winners will also earn the first ever North American invite to the Free Fire World Series. But before they get there, teams will have to fight their way through a grueling 2-month tournament, including an open qualifier, group stage, last chance qualifier, and grand finals. The action started earlier this month with the open qualifier, where 192 teams from all across North America joined the FFPS for the first stage of the tournament. Each qualifier round featured 6 games, where teams earned points based on their in-game performance, including their placement and their kills in the 12-team lobbies. Only teams in the top half of their lobby moved through each of the qualifying rounds, making their way through the round of 192, the round of 96, and the round of 48. The bottom 6 teams from the Season 1 Grand Finals joined the top 30 from the round of 48 and the last open qualifier round, the round of 36. The 18 teams left standing from the final round earned their spots in the group stage. For the group stage, the top teams from the open qualifier will be joined by even more invited teams from Season 1. The top 6 teams from the Season 1 Grand Finals will qualify straight into a 24-team group stage, alongside the open qualifier teams from Season 2. Teams will be split up into groups of 6, and these groups will face off in a double round-robin format where each group will battle each other in a 12-team lobby twice. This stage will take place across 4 weeks, with 3 game days per week. In the end, the top 8 teams will punch their tickets straight to the finals. The 9th through 20th place teams will earn one last shot in the last chance qualifier, and the bottom 4 teams will be eliminated from the tournament. The last chance qualifier will be a 2-day gauntlet where teams that fail to qualify from the group stage will get their last chance to earn a place in the finals and fight for the title of FFPS Grand Champion. 12 games will give the top 4 teams a shot in the finals, while the remaining teams will be eliminated. The Grand Finals will pit the top 12 teams in North America against each other in a 3-day event. 6 games per day for a total of 18 games will be played for teams to claim their piece of the $50,000 prize pool and for a Grand Champion to be crowned. Which squad will reign supreme and get their chance to represent North America in the World Series? Tune in to find out.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Free Fire Pro Series. It's the second day, the last day of the last chance qualifiers, and our last chance for our teams, our 12 teams, to get into that top 4, earn their space in the grand finals. They had their chance in the group stage. They didn't quite make it. Now is the time to show what you're capable of and get into that top 4. I'm joined here by Josue. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be back on the mic with you, Twiggy. And yeah, you already got a chance to see the start of the final battle for these 12 squads. Like you said, 4 slots left to go in the grand finals. We've already seen 8 teams from the group stage prove themselves. And yesterday, a lot of these teams are already setting themselves apart, trying to vie for those last 4 positions. We can check out here the results from our day 1 last chance qualifier that went down yesterday. And DN Esports, wow, they were looking so solid. A bit of a surprise, to be honest. They didn't have this level of showing really in the group stage throughout it, but here they are with 3 booyahs in one day. Twiggy, what did it feel like watching this team just roll over the lobbies yesterday?
I mean, it was a completely different side to DN Esports. It's like we took away those top 8 teams, and suddenly, you know, those 2 teams were right up against that top 8. Obviously, DN Esports and Navy Esports made up 9th and 10th place during the group stage at the end there. Suddenly, they just came alive. DN Esports getting themselves 3 booyahs, but Navy also able to get 90 points with only 1 booyah. Absolutely incredibly impressive performances. You've also got teams that surprised me like Dual Kings, who really fought their way up. They were 20th in the group stage, just missed out by a matter of 7 points on getting eliminated from the group stage. Almost didn't make it here. They're actually in the top 6, and they're looking, you know, pretty close to getting to that top 4, and they're 10 points away. So if they put in a shift today as well, it could definitely happen. They could get into the grand finals, which was not a performance I expected from them.
And kicking it into the right gear is going to be the name of the game, because as we know, with the revive system and with these lobbies, kills matter so much. So Dual Kings finding themselves in 6 plays is really impressive, considering they only have 16 kills. So most of that has been off of the back of really great placements. They actually have a pretty high average placement for where they are in the standings, the 3rd highest, in fact, tied up with at least one other squad. So if they can find a couple more kills and a couple more points in the kill department in general, Dual Kings definitely one of those teams that can pop off. What I'm really surprised to see here, Tugi, I have to mention it, but R15 missed 2 games yesterday, and we see them at 9th place. I honestly thought this was one of the teams that were really going to show up and impress us. They have that kill-heavy playstyle where it's a bit of a coin toss sometimes. They have those really hot drops that lead to some really hot performances oftentimes. So seeing them in 9th place, there's definitely another team that's going to have to kick it up a notch and make sure that they make up those points that they missed on day 1.
Yeah, I mean, they did quite well in the group stage. They weren't the almost consistent team. They were definitely kill heavy, as you said, not getting too many booyahs, but they definitely, they were a team that showed flashes of, really high competence of the game, really good play styles throughout. And missing out on that group stage one again. They just weren't quite at the top, but we were expecting to see them towards the top 4, at least the top half of the LCQs so far. But they've got a lot to make up already on day 2. Obviously, only 20 points, but the performances of 1A towards the end of the day. Laonu also woke up really hard towards the end of yesterday. It's really going to be difficult to make up those 20 points when everybody else is fighting you just as hard to get there. We've already got our top 4, obviously, in DN Esports and Navy Esports, as we said, and Rambox Gaming and 1A Esports. All of these teams at different parts in the day. I mean, Rambox Gaming didn't even get a booyah, and they're still well up there in the top 3. So it just shows how impressive and how fervently everybody is fighting for these points right now. And as there is only 12 maps over the 2 days, every point is going to make a difference, and every point is so important for each team.
And I love to check out a quick comparison of some of these squads. Here we get to see Rambox Gaming stats looking really solid. Like you said, they didn't find a booyah with an average placement matching exactly with their average kills. It's definitely a very nice balance that they're finding right now. And that's putting them somewhere in that top 4 contention, but they're going to have to continue performing. Here we see them against the team that's right up against them in 1A Esports. They have slightly lower kills and average placement, but they do have that one booyah to their name, which does end up making a huge difference oftentimes. Here we see them just separated by 5 points. So Rambox Gaming, one of those squads that is going to have to perform better than they did yesterday to make sure that squads like 1A and some of the other middle of the pack squads like we're seeing in ZRJ, Dual Kings, and Laonu aren't going to overtake them. Remember, we are playing for 4 slots here in the grand finals, and the grand finals has so much at stake. We've got $50,000, Twiggy, and we've got the top spot sending off a whole team to the World Series for the first time in North American history. Talk to us, Twiggy. How exciting is that? You've obviously covered it. We'll see a little bit later, but how great is it to finally see a North American squad representing over in Sentosa?
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. I mean, if you've seen anything from the Free Fire World Series whatsoever, even just a glimpse, you know how, awesome that kind of competition is. And any international competition in any game is so amazing always. Just having that live crowd and that atmosphere that surrounds that international kind of competition. But especially in Free Fire, it's surprisingly really amazing to watch. And there's just so much stuff going on. And it's absolutely amazing. The content that they bring out all the time. There's so much effort and kind of time and just so much passion poured into them. So really exciting to see a North American representative out there. And I mean, getting straight into things, we're heading to Bermuda for our first game of the day. And we're, we want to see Rambox defending their top 4 spot, 1A defending their top spot. But we really want to see, other teams getting involved. As you said, R15. We really want to get them higher up, see what they can do later on. Dual Kings obviously have a lot to prove once again. They really want to get a lot of points right now. But important to see what's changed since yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see who's going to pop off of those big contested drops. We saw a few too many, I think, yesterday, even with R15 missing a couple games, and we know R15 likes that blue zone a lot. But also SKB and Dual Kings, we saw them. They like Clock Tower as well. So a lot of these squads are not willing to give up these drop spots. And here we already see this area near Keraton very popular with multiple squads, including all of ZRJ sandwiched between Rambox Gaming. Let's see what these squads end up doing. It seems like they're all running towards a POI, maybe a little bit late on that drop, and this might end up being disastrous for one of these squads early on. But the disaster strikes over in Clock Tower, where already we see a member of SKB being dropped by Dual Kings.
Yeah, Skullbreakers, I mean, this is just going to be a taste of exactly what they were going through yesterday for them. Really uninspiring performance yesterday, as, you know, they were participating in every game, still managed to perform lower than R15 Esports for most of the day. Really not many points on the board whatsoever, just not really able to get their claws into any of the games. So unfortunately, they came away with, if I remember correctly, very low double-digit points. I think 13 or so. And if they keep that up here, Dual Kings obviously one of the teams that really wants to get higher up on that leaderboard. They need 10 points to make up that difference so far. We'll see how that progresses over the rest of the day. Already got 2 points on the board and sent the rest of Skullbreakers running.
We're already down to 44 players across the map, which means at least 4 deaths all the way around. We see Dual Kings there claiming at least 2, and I believe ZRJ and Rambox Gaming also had a bit of a run-in of their own already. ZRJ with 2 kills, Junior showing up early, and that's definitely what they are going to need early on if they want to make sure they climb the rankings. ZRJ sitting in 7th place right now with 48 points total, right smack dab in the middle of the pack. They're going to need a couple of big games and honestly a lot more kills to catch up to the likes of DN Esports and Navy.
Yeah, not any committal to the fight as well. Getting those 2 kills and disengaging before they lost any of their own members. Really good play from them, because it just gives them free points. I mean, Rambox Gaming, yeah, they're going to get back into it. They're going to revive their members, but, you know, you get 2 free points from that one, so you come away net positive. Rambox Gaming, you know, a little bit crippled, obviously. Definitely still the same amount of chance to get into the game and push back into the rest of the later rings at the very least. But yeah, I mean, like, coming away with 2 points there is so important, especially for a team like ZRJ, who's currently outside of that top 4, currently outside of the top 6, if I remember correctly. And they really do want those. So that's a great start for them. They can build off of that from the rest of the game, and you don't need to commit a bunch of ammo, a bunch of resources, and possibly lives to a fight like that.
And we know how important the resources are at this point. Glue walls matter so much in every one of these engagements, which is why we get to see DN here, our current lobby leaders, in first place after day 1, getting looted up, hitting the shop a little bit, not getting too involved. And I honestly believe a lot of these squads that are fighting off early are losing a lot of value in that late game placement. If you see squads like SKB who continue to drop contested and continue to lose those drops, that's where you lose a lot of points. Another popular contest now breaking out once again. Rambox Gaming and Onu over on the island of Sentosa. And right now, Santi taking up the first knock in the fight. And there is the flush. So an early kill here, putting Onu on the front foot. And it looks like Rambox Gaming might be running for the hills, maybe looking for a revive. They are in shambles as Onu now claimed the first win of the day in these contests.
Yeah, I mean, they were still reeling from that fight with ZRJ. Just went for a long rotation round, see if they can grab some more loot, and unfortunately running into La Onu means they had to get out of there pretty quickly. Santos was acting as the canary for that one. Lost his life, but gained to them a little bit of knowledge. Don't go over there. There's a dangerous animal in La Onu that's going to keep you away from that one. So they do just rotate right back around. You can see they've split up quite nicely, as you can see. One of them is running straight back into ZRJ. And he hit him with a car.
Oh my, getting a little sticky there. And there are the shots coming out of Junior. Might be picking up another kill as that car nearly blown up on the spot. But the trade is there, and Jordan is actually the first one to drop. Samu doing a lot to defend the small position with a single glue wall and no car left. But the gunfire is raining down quickly, and that glue wall is not going to last much longer. There is the knock. 2 members down for ZRJ, though, and it looks like a much closer fight than what they had hoped initially. There is the flush, though, and it looks like Rambox Gaming is definitely going to lose out on this engagement. Once again, ZRJ on the defense, making big things happen, and 3 kills to their name.
Yeah, I mean, they will manage to keep all members alive, so definitely not the worst thing to possibly happen. But yeah, that's gonna hurt them a little bit, and it's also gonna slow down their rotation outside of this zone here. So they're gonna have to head all the way back in once again. A little slower in that one. The rest of Rambox Gaming was not with the rest of them for that one, so they can just run away as well. Laonu, as we saw, who helped with the destabilization of Rambox Gaming there, is also on their rotation out. You can see him coming up from the south here. In the meantime, Navy, one of the teams in the top 2, waiting to get some more points. And R15, they've come up right on top of them here. R15, a team that really need those after missing out on 2 games yesterday. Looks like they're going to start things off nicely on Louis. Going to be a flush immediately here for them. Diablo heading up the charge. And a nade comes straight in. Chino down. They're getting a lovely amount of knocks. 3 knocks already. 1 of them flushed. 2 of them flushed now. And they'll wipe the squad of Navy Esports immediately. No casualties whatsoever. Barely any damage taken, to be honest. Wow, R15 official. This is a performance that we really wanted to see from them, and it's actually going to knock out the top team almost in this stage so far. So massive for them, and terrible, terrible for Navy. You see DN Esports, the other leader here. The actual leader will over 100 points coming into this fight. 3 booyahs already for this team, but Zundel Esports, they'll knock them out as well. The top 2 teams knocked out in the first 2 teams of Bermuda here. Bermuda, a map that we really wanted to see Navy get some points on. And DN also have some of their best performances on Bermuda as well. So having these 2 teams knocked out immediately, really, really bad for them. That's going to lose them out on a lot of potential points that they really wanted to get later on. A new zone heading over towards Clock Tower now. We've got a bit of hanger in there as well. ZRJ still alive, and now it's really just a scrap to see who can catch up to those top 2 teams, because neither of them are going to come away with any points whatsoever, really. Makes things very difficult for both of them. You just got to watch on in frustration as the rest of the teams close their gap to you. Close the gap that you worked so hard for in the first day. Now, DRJ and Laonu, 2 teams in that mid-table, 2 teams fighting to get into the top 6. Actually, Laonu is in the top 6. They're both fighting to get into the top 4, though. Fight rings out. Mario gets a flush onto one of the ZRJ members. Another member down for ZRJ. Now, 1 very low player, and 1 well away from the rest of the team. They lose another player to that knock. I think that'll pretty much be the fight over, and neither of them seem to be in a position to disengage from this one. Jordan trying to get as far away as possible. Viz also hiding, trying to find an out of this fight. Oh, but he's caught him on the way out. Santi will take down Jordan. Down to 1 member now, and if they find Viz, it's looking like a quick elimination for ZRJ as well. We'll have to see how he does there, but Zundel now involved with Hags. Hags who put in a couple shifts yesterday, but really nothing memorable in the first day of the LCQ, so definitely looking to get a performance in now. But Zundel, a team that did put in a couple of shifts, that really want to push for that top 4. Taking out the Hags team now as they run in past these glue walls. So many glue walls on the ground. Not a lot of hard cover to work with. Edward down, but Zeus is traded out there. The flush is actually going to come onto Zeus before they can get Jeff up from the floor. Rivera finding another one. Lectra takes down Panna, but there is more to be done for the Hags side before they win this fight. Zundel trying to keep them away. And they will eliminate Hags Esports.
Oh my goodness, Zundel waking up a lot here. Back after some unfortunate technical difficulties, but hey, we are here with Zundel making a big statement because they are low on the leaderboard. But R15 also showing up, needing to make up a lot of points, and they might be picking up Zundel on the way there.
Yeah, it's a brilliant fight from them. And Hags Esports once again losing out to a team that is slightly higher up than them on that leaderboard. But R15, a team, isn't quite that high on the leaderboard. But they have put in a shift today. Already 7 kills on the board and taking out one of the top 2 teams in Navy. Just a full wipe. Absolutely nothing Navy could do whatsoever about that one. And now they're hunting for more. They've got a taste of blood. They like it.
Yeah, and that looked really good right there early on. 7 kills this early. We still have 8 squads up, Twiggy, which means there are plenty more KP to be found and plenty more points to be picked up by this squad. Zundel on the outside of the zone now, having to recover a little bit. And it's definitely unfortunate to lose a member, but with the revive system fully fledged and unlocked, they might be bringing up some more members, but they'll have to deal with Rambox eventually. And it looks like that's the information they might be getting here from Zeus. Might have seen the members of Rambox, and there it is. Rambox now taking the shots that they need to potentially pick up a couple more points that they desperately need to move up in the leaderboard.
They're trying to get their members back alive after that fight. Did hurt them quite a lot, but before they can get all 4 members up, they're going to run into Rambox Gaming trying to defend their position. Kevin, that Shark shotgun not going to play nicely with his face. He's down on the ground now. And, I mean, Rambox Gaming just have not caught a break this game whatsoever, so they'll take the kill leader after that flush on Kevin. And Rambox still just trying to keep all their members alive. You can see everyone who's alive right now has already died once in this game. They're just hiding. There's nothing else you could do here.
It might be the moment for tower defense for them to at least catch a breath. But Zundel, actually the ones that are aggressing after having to move up from the air, getting that information. Meanwhile, R15 might be dealing with Skullbreakers once again, and Skullbreakers needs to win this fight. It's so unfortunate that they're running into R15, who is so hungry for these kills and for these points that they're making up after missing a couple of games yesterday. Skullbreaker's already in a very strange defensive position here. They might disengage. The grenades are flying out from R15, and this position is not the best for Skullbreakers. And already Garena and Bestia doing so much work on the SKB Hell's Bars. A flush coming out, another knock, and the recovery might not go through here as Dalba cleans up the fight. SKB Esports eliminated in 8th place.
Yeah, they're going to only take away 3 points from that game with no eliminations whatsoever for them. R15 retake the kill leaders of this game. 11 kills already. I mean, it seems like they're going to get more kill points than they are placement points no matter what happens, no matter how good their performance. So R15 really making up for things yesterday is, I think, considering how many points they got, they're already on a quarter of what they got yesterday, so well ahead of where they need to be in terms of catching up at this point. Now, everything is just a cherry on top, but you can see so many teams together in this last, 4th ring is where things get real tight. 7 squads left, 27 members. That's a lot to pack in a tight space.
And a lot of members surviving here, which you love to see because it means those later and mid-game fights are so exciting. Here we see another one breaking out, this time between 1A and R15. R15 just has not had enough, and here they turn the corner. Nice shots there, but they are traded out. The wall now is the most popular spot on the map for both of these squads. Lurin dropping as well. Now we've got a 2 versus 3 situation, but another knock and a full wipe. R15 has not had enough quite yet. They have not been fed all of the kills that they want out of this first game, making a big statement here with 14 kills and still 6 squads left to go.
They've already personally taken out 2 of the top 4 teams so far in the LCQs in this game alone. That's a statement if ever I've seen one. That is, not only are you getting more points than those teams, you're making sure Navy gets absolutely 0 points. One of the competitors that has so many points already, and you've made sure that, you're limiting 1A Esports' placements here. Rambox Gaming, though, the only remaining member of that top 4 right now, kind of getting wiped a little bit, but defending their position well. Zundel came back for them, and actually, a couple of them are knocked, and it's just Lecturer on the ground kind of waiting, see if he can get up there, but they've defended this sniper's tower quite well.
The lack of coordination there is punished so heavily by Rambox Gaming. They do find one more knock, though, and now it's a 2v1, but the ring is there as well, forming a 3rd member, potentially for Zundel, who actually cleans it up, and Samu, now the last member left alive, gonna have to walk up by themselves, but R15 is on the edge with the keep out. Rambox Gaming out. Zundel Esports out, and now we're on the top 4 with Onu, DK, IT, and of course R15, who just has so many more kills left to collect. They're gonna have to do it as a trio, though. Don't count them out because they can definitely do it with plenty of grenades and glue walls left to work with.
In comes that 5th circle, and it's going to push everybody down to that eastern side. Nova, a shot to the head from Sanji. Sanji so good with the sniper rifles and brings R15 down to 2 members alive now. They found Laonu, though. Prince is on the ground. Will they go for that finish point? They'll go for a couple more kills, maybe. Stuck inside a time turner, and Diablo has got another one. Bestia down on the ground. He's looking for more here. That's another shot that'll land. Bestia is going to be finished, but they now need to get a finish. They got another team. Laonu eliminated. They're on 19 kills. It's only Diablo alive, but he's done the devil's work already.
That is absolutely foul from there. And oh my goodness, what a way to continue making that statement. Now they find themselves in the top 3, personally removing Laonu and on their way to potentially the highest scoring single game so far in the Last Chance qualifier, potentially in the tournament. But they have 2 duos at least one more team to go in front of them, and then IT to deal with. So this is going to be really tough, but Diablo going to do their best. Let's see what they can do here.
They've already guaranteed themselves 28 points in this game. That is a massive amount of points, as Duel Kings will try and stop them from getting any further. Diablo just running away at this point. Now just maximize the amount of points you can get. R15 official finally shut down, quite rightly, by the game there. They will finish this game with 28 points, which is so many for a third placement. It's absolutely unreal. It's now Duel Kings and IT official that are fighting for first. Oscuro take down one. Beto gonna have to be revived inside of the time turner there. Oh, still putting damage down. They do get the revive eventually, but they've already lost a member here. Duel Kings not have the high ground. They don't have the optimal positioning. They have less members alive. This is going to be a difficult fight for them.
But IT needs to do this cleanly because they do have a wall to work with. Duel Kings, that side can do a lot with that and a couple of grenades. But now the push starts off for IT official, and IT official, as long as they stick together and make this play happen, they can definitely clean it up. There goes Furcho, there goes Nieto. Oscuro, the last one standing for Duel Kings, and it looks like IT might take the first win with the booyah. Game one going over to IT official, making it look official, kicking things off so hot. Twiggy, what a game.
Absolutely. I mean, IT officials doing incredibly well positioning-wise to win themselves that game, but I feel like the only people we can talk about after all of that performance are our 15 official, because they may not have got as far in the game as they'd wanted, but with 19 kills, they'll get most of the points.
That is crazy to think about with such a kill-heavy meta right now. R15 decided today's the day. We missed a couple of games. Let's just make them all up in a single game, the first game of the day. And what a day to do it, because we only have 5 games left for these squads to prove that they belong in the grand finals. R15 making a huge claim to one of those spots, potentially off of a single game. I'm excited to find out where they're going to sit in the standings. And I'm excited to find out which squads of the top 4 are already sweating, because R15 is coming for those spots.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, 1A Esports, who is the closest to the bottom now, Rambox Gaming as well, who really needed some points out of that game and didn't get as many as they would have liked. I don't think anybody in the top 4 is very happy with that game whatsoever. Navy will have gone away with absolutely 0. DN Esports, maybe 2 or 3. They got eliminated second. Rambox Gaming, they got closer to the end, but they didn't get too many kills. 1A Esports, not too many kills on the board either. None of them are going to be happy after that. It's everybody else who wins out on this one, and now, I mean, that top 4 is going to have to be watching their backs. Even the top 2 could get overtaken by the end of today if they don't pick it up.
And R15 is going to stay dangerous, which means that they're going to continue picking up kills. It won't end anytime soon. And squads like ONU and Rambox Gaming both need to make sure they keep their games clean. But with contests like these and rotations where they're getting punished, it's so hard for the teams to find any points later in the game. Meanwhile, R15 is farming all of the squads that are anywhere near the blue zone that they like to drop so much. And they are plenty looted up to pick up those kills in the late game. And a lot of squads are going to struggle here if they cannot suppress the fire coming out of R15.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, all the way throughout the game, IT officials started things off on them, but they got away incredibly well, and then it was just a push and a push and a push, and they just didn't stop pushing whatsoever. You can see the kill feed down there. Oh. Diablo, 9 kills by the end of that fight after finishing that whole squad. I mean, absolutely making the best of all of their positions, because they were never in an advantageous position, I don't feel like. There we go. 18 points for IT official, who come away as the winners of that game, but I think the real winners with 19 kills, more kill points than the winners of that game, are R15 official, who come away with 27. That is just unreal.
That is incredible. That is easily one of the highest scoring games, I think, if not the highest scoring game, for a third place finish. Again, third place, that means that Duel Kings and IT both picked up more points for their placements, and were still nearly 10 points short in IT officials' case. Absolutely insane way to start off the day. And if R15 has any momentum in their back pocket, they're going to carry it to a ridiculous just a ridiculous amount of points I foresee later in these games. Diablo there doing the devil's work, you put it best, Twiggy. 9 kills in a single game by himself, not even accounting for the 4 kills coming out of both Bestia and Doba.
Yeah, mad. Just nine kills is so many in one game. wiping 2 squads alone, and then the rest of your team is right down there, just below everybody else. Joint third, Bestia and Dover. Sanji also doing incredibly well for his team. We know how much damage Sanji can do for IT Official, and showing it there, obviously, in the last fight of the game. Lectra as well, getting on the board for a team that really didn't get that many points that game. A lot of them gamed by one person. R15 Official are now knocking on the door of that top 4 already. It only took them 1 game, and they're 1 point away from getting through to the grand finals. If they keep up that tempo, they will be well on their way to getting that spot there. But as you can see, no movement in terms of points for DN Esports or Navy Esports. They will stay exactly where they were, not just in their place on the leaderboard, but actually on their full points together as well. Rambox Gaming just about keep their place in the top 3, but Laonu have overtaken 1A Esports, who are now down to 6th.
And what I love about this tournament and games like these is that even though R15 ran away with that first game, look at how close the middle of the pack is. In 7th place, we've got 64 points, and the differential between 7th place and 3rd place is a mere 10 points. That is half of the points that they got in kills, that R15 got in kills that game, which means that it's still any team's game right now, at least in terms of trying to find themselves in the top 4. Laonu probably sweating bullets right now. They're 1 point ahead of R15, and Rambox Gaming not much farther ahead either. But even just looking at this comparison, our 4th place team has half the average kills of R15. I mean, these score lines cannot get any more ridiculous. This comparison is almost unfair after the game that R15 just put down.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind as we look at this head-to-head here, this includes all of the games that have been played so far, and R15 Official weren't playing for 2 of those. And their average kills is still 8.2. Keeping in mind, for 2 of those games, their average kills will have been 0. So after that game, they push it up. Yep. Oh, okay. Well, apparently it doesn't count as good. But still in the 5 games they played, average of 8.2 kills is absolutely unreal. Average placement only of 5.8. That shows you just how much points they get from the kills, is that, you know, average placement of 5.8. That's really not a lot of average points per game for placement, but getting all of their points from kills, it seems like, and just so much. You can see Diablo, 2.8 kills average by himself.
Yeah, even squads like Dual Kings had an average placement of around 5.1 coming out of the first day, which means that the average kill scoreline here is really what we need to pay attention to, at least for R15, and it fits their style of gameplay very well. They like to play that blue zone, to fight it out early and be extremely looted up to win every single fight after that. Meanwhile, squads like Dual Kings look at 2.7 average kills. That is not exactly what they need right now, but the average placement is looking kind of nice. Dual Kings has potential here. If they're able to play some of those power spots that they're finding themselves in the mid game and pick up more kills instead of just kind of finding themselves hauled up in these buildings, they could easily jump a lot of points and a lot of placements in the later games that we're going to see today. And speaking of later games, we're about to roll into day 2 as that bright yellow screen is notifying us. But yeah, Dual Kings, another squad that might be looking to step it up. R15 is definitely the squad to suppress, though, in game number 2.
Yeah, let's see if our 15 Official can keep up that momentum going into our second game of Bermuda, or if our teams that we expect to do well in DN Esports, Navy Esports, let's see if they can bring it back, because Navy Esports, they got the most of their points on Bermuda yesterday, and if they can't get those today, it's going to be looking like a tough day for them to close things out. I mentioned yesterday that it seems like Navy Esports, they, you know, really get rolling on that first map, and then it slows down towards the end of they coast their way to the finish line, and although they get so many points on those first 2 games, maybe the first 3, they do relatively well in Kalahari as well. It seems like they just kind of don't get across that finish line when you get to Purgatory, so they really need to get all their points right now if they want everything. DN Esports, in the meantime, they kind of warm up over the course of the day, so not seeing too many points for them on Bermuda isn't the worst thing in the world for them. They do expect to get a lot more in Purgatory. Obviously, they got 2 of their 3 booyahs on Purgatory yesterday.
And it's really impressive to just consider the fact that Laonu, RBG, Navy, and DN are all splitting POIs between the 2 halves of those squads. That's ridiculous. We tend to see DN and Navy in Observatory, but right now we're seeing Mr. Edwin on the ground and 6 feet deep. as RBG losing so early in this engagement right now, already having to potentially peel off, but Samu not in time to run either, and now Kevin and Santos have to disengage or potentially have a full team wipe on their hands, which would definitely set them back if they want to continue the spots that they have in the leaderboard. Kevin there finding a nice car there, but Santos will not be able to make it into the vehicle, and just like that, RBG down 3 members.
Yeah, that's going to be a disengage for sure. Rambox getting well away, giving Laonu 3 points on the board. It's very similar to the start they had last map. And R15 official eliminated first. Well, there is DN Esports again. I was going to say, were they going to show up today? Yes, there you go. Taking out the team that did so well yesterday just immediately. It's been 2 minutes and their full squad's wiped. It didn't look like they took a casualty whatsoever in the meantime. Skullbreakers also have something to prove. They didn't have a good day yesterday whatsoever, so getting 1 kill on the board starts things off nicely.
And now trading out this contest on Clock Tower. We see them consistently fighting this BOI with Dual Kings, but Dual Kings on the losing end of this one. Quick to disengage though. We've talked about it so much, how important it is to figure out when you don't want to fight. But SKB is hungry here. They're not even finishing up the looting on that POI. They're moving on to the next best thing. Meanwhile, Navy and DN already feeling the next best thing, which is the blue zone free of R15, and it looks like DN picked up all of those kills, potentially also picking up a kill on Navy here soon if they aren't careful. But I mean, Patojo with 2 kills already and R15 out of the lobby, everyone is breathing a sigh of fresh air.
Yeah, I mean, they were really, really close to getting up to that top 4, especially Navy, DN. DN, obviously, the team that took them down, they're going to be very, very happy about that. They're just protecting where they are on the leaderboard now, and that's what every game is going to be about for DN Esports, for Navy, for Rambox. It's just protecting that position, just protecting yourself from getting eliminated early on. Getting just the minimum amount of points to coast your way through to that top 4 by the end of today. Obviously, only 5 maps left to go. Less than 5 maps, technically. 4.5, I guess, to go today. So they really just want to kind of up their minimum points per game.
Most definitely. And, you know, moving up from 0 points already, definitely feeling good. DN Esports off to a hot start, and they tend to continue these hot starts with pretty decent performances later in the game, so we'll see what they end up doing. But now that Navy has disengaged from that whole situation, they might be looking for the lone member of DK here, who struggling early against the SKB matchup, now running for the hills, and it looks like Navy might be facing off with SKB next. SKB needs to find a decent fight here if they do end up engaging, because Navy also separating themselves from the rest of the pack very quickly. 90 points on day 1 means that they are definitely really close to cementing that spot, but they have to keep their games clean today.
Yep. There we go. We see that first ring coming through. All the way down there. Sorry, second ring this is. All the way down to the south. 1A Esports are going to be pretty happy about that one. They've already got a lovely position to the south of Mars Electric. As Laonu rotate their way in quickly. ZRJ will follow them from Sentosa around the back there. Hoping, I feel like, for Laonu that they don't engage with each other. Both of these teams need points. Laonu made their way into the top 4 after last game, just about. So they definitely need to maximize the amount of points they get, especially in the first half of the day. Just get a gap between them and everybody right below them, because it is really 1 point. It is a matter of 1 point that separates them from the rest of the pack.
And I'm glad that CRJ didn't overcommit to that contest, because now they're still alive, and with 1 squad down, they are 1 step closer to picking up those all-important placement points that they're going to need. They're definitely late on the rotation, so they are very far out of the ring currently. And here we see IT and Factory that is also going to have to make their way up a little bit. But Hags seems to be the ones that have found our current lobby leaders. DN Esports with a lot of early damage going down from Pana. And this is a great spot from Hags. Look at the height that they're commanding right now. They have to make sure they keep DN off of this side of the map, because they're quickly rotating, but I think they have a read on the situation. DN is not getting through for free.
Yeah, Peak is a very nice place to hold down. It makes it very difficult for teams to rotate through you. They have to go all the way around. You can see DN Esports are just heading all the way around Peak here, as they really just can't waste time on Hags, waste time in that fight, possibly lose the fight. When they need points the most, obviously they're still the points leaders with 105, but you really just, you can't risk losing this quickly and having 2 games in a row that are incredibly undesirable for your team. when you need to be staying in that top 4. It's such a thin margin of error that is available to these teams. We can't talk about it enough. It's just, you make 1 or 2 mistakes, suddenly you've lost that edge over every other team.
Speaking of the edge of the map, we've got La Onu over here in Factory. Just absolutely spamming the scope. You love to see it. Got to find those shots somehow. But La Onu, ZRJ, and 1A are all populating the southern side of the map. Looking at the map here as well, we can see that the ring is going to start affecting how these squads are going to play, how they're going to react to that positioning, and more importantly, whether they can hold those power spots to keep collecting kills. Because as we've seen and learned from R15, a lot of the times it is not enough to just get the placement points. Those kills and that positioning to get those kills is so important, especially in the mid game as we approach the second ring closing. And here we see ZRJ walking into ring. They definitely need to find a decent position if they want to collect kills.
Yeah, they had now everyone else on their way through, but there are so many teams stuck outside the zone as well. I mean, talk about these teams, DNE Sports and IT Official right here together, but a lot of teams having very slow rotations, which is going to cause them to have a little difficulty getting into the end of this game. But right now, IT Official engaging on DN Esports. Edvin's stuck in a corner and actually going to be pushed out of there by Beto. IT Official do have the high ground, which is very nice for them. They got here first. They've taken ownership of the place. DN Esports, I think, might just disengage from this one.
I like this play from IT, looking at where the ring is and realizing that it potentially could pull towards them. Having that high early on means that they will not be contested by any random teams with LOS all the way around. Zundel currently looking down at ZRJ, collecting more kills. Currently 1 to their name, potentially more here as Viz hiding with a sliver of health behind this glue wall. Has a couple more to work with, but the grenades might come out soon, and it looks like Zundel has had enough. They walk up with that shotgun, dropping that player instantly, and now ZRJ completely split up with 2 members left. Zundel still finding a lot of shots, but getting traded. Latrack trying to find a different angle, and now a 3 versus 3. They will pick up this player, and they haven't flushed out this kill quite yet, which means still a duo, Jordan and Griffo. Looks like they don't want to give up on this quite yet, but Griffo's starting to run. I think I agree with that, but a little too late.
Yeah.
Rough.
Very rough. Lectra has been taken down over towards the right here. Everybody going to swarm around him, trying to protect him, but it is just Jordan trying to fire upon them, and against 3 players, maybe not going to work out too well for them. Zundel do take out ZRJ there. ZRJ, another not incredible performance from them on Bermuda here, so they won't be too happy about that. They really need these points now. I mean, the level of competition has increased so much since yesterday that, you know, even these mid players, these mid teams kind of in that mid table are really pushing to get into the top 4. It's got so heavily kind of, you know, bell curved around that kind of 6th, 5th area that you're going to get left behind if you don't keep getting points now.
And Zundel, one of the teams that definitely got a little bit left behind in day 1, already looking a little bit more solid, finding the right plays and the right kills that they need. Still fighting a little bit too much in the open for my liking. There's plenty of squads like IT with players like Sanji who love to use those snipers to maximum effect and collect kills. I also don't love this from Dual Kings. Unfortunately, they end up doing this a lot. They are very late to the rotation. Moving through the water, though, bit of a sneaky, cheeky play here that might save them. 1A looking over that precipice, though, with potentially SKB getting involved as well.
Yeah. Now, everybody has made their way in. Luckily, there was a few teams outside of there. Navy, Skullbreakers, and Dual Kings, I think, were well outside of the zone a while ago. They have made their way in. A couple of members of Dual Kings going for a swim there, and I think that's a fishing trip for 1A. Yep, I'll just take out both of them. Lovely, thank you very much. 3 kills. 1A, take one of them out. I don't think they've seen the second player, but it doesn't really matter for them. It's just a free kill. They can't, I mean, Dual Kings can't do anything about that. They're still alive, though, at least.
And now this gamble from IT and Navy, hoping that the ring would pull Factory, does not come to fruition. It's actually pulling a little bit further south, which means that on the move, Navy ends up getting 1 member drop. That's going to be Chino. Nothing will come out of it quite yet, and DN getting involved as well from range. These sniper shots are so dangerous. You never know when you're going to get hit, and this is the problem with fighting in the open. Cuba getting completely flushed out, and Duro getting dropped as well, which means DN just pick up 2 quick kills off the back of SKB trying to find some shots on the Navy. That is not the position you want to try and hunt 4 kills, and it is punished in droves as SKB down to 2 members.
Yeah, you can see how important this positioning on top of Factory can be when this zone does head towards the south area. You know, Factory is such a nice high ground to get on. It's so difficult to get up there if there's a team already on the roof, if there's a team already on the rafters up there. It's so difficult to just push them out of that position. So, you know, IT Official using that to full of advantage. Getting themselves a lot of knocks. Not a lot of kills, at the very least for other teams. I'll be happy that IT Official aren't getting too much out of it. And now the zone has moved, so they will have to give up that position. So, you know what? Could have been a lot worse for the other teams. IT Official could have made a massive amount happen from there, so everybody be quite happy that they got away at the very least. Skullbreakers get those reses in, but they're landing right on top of 1A Esports, who are going to start taking those out. It's a little bit of clay pigeon shooting for them.
Talk about kill point inflation right now. We get SKB reviving 2 members just for 1A to start claiming them again. And 1A with a pretty decent spot here in the hangar. Meanwhile, we are going to see a lot of knocks coming out of this engagement from Onu and Zundel. Zundel on the back foot, Latrack the last man standing, and they're going to have to run or potentially clean up the fight by themselves. The time turner going down there. The revives attempted and almost punished, but Zundel drops instead. That fight was incredibly close. Mario down as the last member, but Onu now with 7 kills. Prince, Santi, and Milo get picked up right as the ring closes and as the rest of these fights start to pop off.
The Navy are really just trying to stay outside of the zone here, but they're not going to be let happen here. IT Official wiped the squad, and Navy, once again, on their favorite map, have not got many points whatsoever. They're the 5th squad to be eliminated. No kills as far as I'm aware. Not great for them. I think Laonu are going to get close to overtaking them if they do well for the rest of this game here. DN Esports are going to push that gap even further. So for a team that's trying to defend that top 4 position, the only top 4 obviously get into the grand finals. That's really, really hard.
Is that a res? It is a res, and look at that.
Wow.
They pick up 2 members off of the vending machines on the outside of the zone, and this is what Dual Kings has done so well. Look at that. Cam is dropping for the sake of their team, and 2 members will be left alive, dropping with white equipment to potentially continue ratting out and finding way more position points. And right as that happens, IT almost entirely gets dropped down to 7 squads and 1 member. IT might get farmed for kill points here by DN, who is keeping out. You shall not pass. IT Official, they're going to try and recover, but look at the angle that IT has just fallen from, and just like that, DK with 2 reses jump an entire position off of IT's over-aggression.
Unfortunately, those res players from Dual Kings as well have landed right on top of Skullbreakers, like Onu, Hags. Everybody's just kind of watching this last member behind the tree. And there it is. Dual Kings eliminated. They tried their best to get back into that game, and at the same time, Skullbreakers got pushed on by Laonu, so they're down as well. Last 4 teams already. It's been a relatively quick game, this one here, as Bermuda, everybody wants to be done with it, I guess. All these teams are definitely better on other maps. DN Esports, they're making things happen. They've warmed up a little bit after last game. Trying to take out the 1A Esports side now.
We know that 1A and Laonu both got the most points on their respective games yesterday based on the games where they had the wins. So we are going to see if they can keep out DN here, who is on the outside of the ring looking in. Onu has a very nice position here because they have that ability to play for quite a long time. They're on the slow side of this 5th ring as it'll start to close. Meanwhile, DN has to find their way in with all of the squads looking over this hill. They have a couple of blue walls, nothing in the double digits though, at least for Bad Boy. 5 blue walls and plenty of LOS. It looks like they're the ones that are looking to punish Onu, and 1A on the very edge might end up griefing this team, but DN just does not stop with the violence, a member of Onu going down.
Yeah. Oh, it's such an awkward position as well, because you're right outside the zone. There's no real easy way to get out of there. There we go. They're going to hop on a motorcycle and ride their way in, but the big fight right now is between Laonu and Hags over here. Hags haven't got many points this game so far. Laonu definitely on more kills. If they can get towards the last few squads of the game, which they are, 3rd right now. Oh, but DN Esports is coming in from the other side. They're going to get caught in a crossfire here as Laonu is just firing down on their backs, and they're trying to defend from DN Esports on the other side. What a nade! 3 knocks from Rivera with 1 grenade launcher. Oh, they're only down to Mario now. Hags Esports are doing incredibly well to just get themselves some kills on the board before they get knocked out by DN Esports, but they've also knocked a bunch of DN Esports members. Now Laonu heading all the way away. They might want to just try and equalize here. Hags finally eliminated by DN, but at least they got themselves a lot of kills on the board. And now it's every member of DN Esports, 17 kills already against 1 member of Laonu, who, I mean, Hags did all the hard work for them. It is DN Esports who take their 4th booyah of the LCQs, their first today. Amazing from them.
And what a way to win it. I mean, look at the work DN did. They were obviously playing fantastic in the late game, but they said, hey, Hags, mind throwing a grenade over to Onu to wipe them out before we get to you. They did exactly that, so congratulations to Hags for sort of winning that game for DN, but DN, absolutely fantastic play there in the end of the ring. I mean, they just skirted around so many weird situations to make sure they had just enough cover to play and just enough fighting power right at the end there to wipe the rest of the members with Hags, and obviously finishing off Laonu easy peasy with 1 member down. So yeah, what a game there from DN. 4 booyahs and a huge boost of confidence after a 0-point game number 1. What more can you say here? DN must have some crazy momentum and excitement, rolling into the next map.
Yeah, absolutely. Kalahari was probably, well, I mean, it was objectively the worst map yesterday. They didn't get a booyah on it. I mean, they got a booyah on both Bermuda and Purgatory yesterday, so Kalahari being the only one. It's not like they performed badly on it whatsoever. They did get a lot of kills in there as well, but, I mean, this is definitely going to be massive for them. I think at this point, you know, with probably, you know, in excess of 20 points after that game, probably close to 30 with the amount of kills they got, it's going to be pretty easy for them to maintain that first place in the LCQ, so they're looking pretty likely to get into the grand finals here. At this point, the fight is really down to, you know, Laonu, who recently got into 4th place after the first map. They're going to be trying to defend that, and with a, you know, 15 or so point game there, they're going to be doing very well to maintain that position. And everybody else, I feel like Navy is really going to be a team that's not happy with the way things are going right now.
Yeah, Navy definitely going to have to step it up. I love that you mentioned that, because even though they didn't have the absolute worst game, they are on one of those POIs that is very hotly contested, and they've been able to survive it time and time again, at least on this first map. But things will definitely change going into Kalahari, where they need to pick up points where they otherwise maybe weren't doing so as effectively. And with squads like R15 now in the mix, it has not gotten any easier. In fact, it's gotten a lot more difficult as DN Esports pick up a cool 30 points in a single game, which means that the standings might look a little bit more one-sided and their spot a little bit more cemented towards the end here in the top 4, vying for that spot in the grand final, and honestly vying for the respect of everyone in this lobby. They had a rough game 1, but they are definitely far from done collecting kills.
Yeah, they saw what R15 official did last game, and they said, I think I want a bit of that myself. And they took out R15 right at the start of the game, and then they took all their kills for the rest of the game. So just taking their place, filling in their boots for that whole game. And Laonu obviously doing incredibly well as well. They're doing, you know, they're very consistent today. I think they might actually be the points leaders for today after their 2 very good performances there. Hags Esports doing very well for themselves. They do need quite a few points on the board to catch up to the top squads here today. Yeah, no, Navy are really going to be the biggest kind of losers right now. As it is, I think everybody is catching up to them quite nicely, especially Laonu, who should be heading up into 3rd place. We can take a look at the kills first off. Look at that. So many on the board. I mean, when you take up 1, 2, and 3, I feel like that's a very good indicator of how dominant the game was.
Oh, absolutely. We saw this time and time again from squads that are picking up these huge kills, but honestly pretty well distributed, which is terrifying. It wasn't incredibly one-sided. Patojo with 7, Venva with 6. I mean, just the whole team doing as much heavy lifting as they can, bringing us to 4 booyahs, which, not to spoil the fun or anything, but if they get any more booyahs, they will have in a single weekend tied Fuego for the most booyahs, gotten to half of Fuego's booyahs They didn't get to 10. I don't think they will. But yeah, 4 Booyahs, super impressive, and 74 kills, Twiggy. I mean, what more can you do as DN Esports to make sure that you make it into the grand finals? They really can't just have decent games from here on out if these squads like Rambox and 1A don't really step it up.
Yeah, at this point with 4 maps left to go before the LCQs are over, it's just coast to the finish line. I feel like it's the best way to do this one. You've already done all of the hard work. Now, just getting into the top 5 every game, or just getting, 5 or so kills on the board every game is going to put you in a decent position just to maintain. You don't get any extra brownie points for getting into first, second, or third. Getting fourth is optimal here. Everything else is just a cherry on top. It's not going to help you in any way into the grand finals. It's just the same no matter what happens. So they're definitely going to be happy no matter what. And I mean, they're how many points away now? 60 points away from 4th position, 61 points away from their closest competition over at 5th there. So, the likelihood of a team getting 65 points, of 4 teams getting 60 points in a game to overtake them, pretty unlikely, I would say, to push them down into 5th place. They're pretty happy where they are right now. Navy Esports, still, relatively, they should be worried, definitely, 20 points away from being pushed out. But, again, they got so many points in the first day that they'll be relatively happy moving into this one. They just need to pick things up. They'll need to work a little harder to stay up here. Here are the top 2 fraggers for the LCQ so far, both members of DN Esports, and you can see 3.1 average kills, 3.3 average kills over the course of each. I mean, that's almost a full squad each.
Yep. So DN looking really good, having really great average placement as a team and average kills on each member. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the damage numbers. I mean, everyone is doing so much work. It isn't just Patojo rolling up with like one good grenade or a good charge buster shot. No, it is the teamwork and coordination that is getting them so far. They are running over every squad that isn't prepared to take a fight. And this is what's important about the Free Fire Pro Series and the squads that are in this tournament is no one is going to give these fights up for free. So if DN is already doing this and making this statement in the top 4 of the last chance qualifier, they might be very well locked and loaded to roll into the grand final and try and do it again to potentially take that spot in the Free Fire World Series. So Patojo and Venva, as well as the other 2 teammates, definitely looking really, really nice here. And they're going to have to continue for at least 4 more games. But we've got other squads like Navy Esports. We saw yesterday, right? Most kills on Bermuda and Kalahari. So Kalahari is still a map that Navy Esports can definitely do a lot of work on. Left to go. It's going to be tight for a couple of these squads. There we see Navy average placement almost breaking even there with 5.9 and 6.1 on the average kill department. So still a lot of potential left to go. As we look into our map swap, Twiggy, what do you think has to change for some of these middle of the pack and bottom teams? Because Kalahari is a whole different ball game, and of course Purgatory after that will change the game once again. What do these squads need to do? What are these contested drops causing in terms of leaderboard? Like, what do we need to see? What do we need to see change?
Well, I think differently. You're heading into 2 much more wider open maps as we head into Kalahari and Purgatory, both much bigger and wider, and it's so much more, less kind of POIs to work with than Bermuda, much less space like that. So, it's really more important that you get your rotations in, maybe not early, but just thinking about them more heavily moving into these 2 maps. And a lot of the teams, maybe they're not the kind of teams that go for early rotation. They're not the kind of teams that think about their rotations too quickly. They go for kills when they're moving in towards the next zone. And I think that's really going to be have to be something that teams are going to have to restrain themselves from doing to stay up at the top of the leaderboard, especially teams like Navy who thrive off of getting a lot of kills, especially teams like, teams that are trying to get into the top that do get a lot of kills but don't get higher up in the games, like Sundell Esports and Rambox Gaming. These guys really need to focus on their positioning more than their kills as we head into our first game of Kalahari.
Yep, and Kalahari, I believe, another map where R15 was down a game. So even though there wasn't too much contesting on the map, there was a little bit of POI changes as well. So curious to see where that blue zone ends up. And I believe that might mean a contest between R15 and DN. So really excited to see how that's going to go down, especially in Shrines. We've got another contest on Stone Ridge as well. It looks like ONU and Navy getting involved in a little scuffle early on as well. not the densest place in terms of loot. So let's see what happens. Onu, early aggressors, but Prince, early damage being put on.
Yeah, Prince was running around trying to find some kills there, but actually took damage himself. Time Turner, nicely done to peek around the corner without committing anything. They're going to have to run away from Prince now, as you can see the kills light up the kill feed. Prince just walks out the window straight into the barrel of Ramon with that auto shotgun there. Louis is going to be taken down in revenge by Milo. All done. So 1 apiece at this point. Navy, I think, definitely have maybe not better positioning, but just easier to work with for them as the high ground, you know. Everybody's going to have to push up on them very close, and that might favor them as they head over towards their next little location that they want to hold down.
And now a 3v3 situation, but again, because they split this POI, who knows what they have to work with in terms of glue walls and grenades. If you have a grenade there, Navy's position is not looking as secure, but it looks like it's not looking secure in either case, as Onu now going on the hunt, walking into the building. Chino almost dropped instantly. Chris down to half health. Chino goes down, and Chris will likely follow soon after. They pick up Mario on the way out, though, and maybe flushing a kill. Time Turner to try and defend from the onslaught. That is Onu, but Navy Esports is eliminated. And just like that, we have one of our middle-of-the-pack squads, one of our top-end squads, in fact, going down early.
This is a horror story for Navy. They had such a good performance day one, and they're barely managing to scrape together double digits of points today. Barely getting any kills on the board, getting eliminated first in 2 maps now. That's terrible for them, and they're really not going to enjoy these last 3 maps if they can't get their act together quicker. R15 and DN, who dropped right on top of each other last game as well. We saw how that worked out with DN Esports getting the booyah at the end of the game. It looks like they're trying it once again. Denver with the high ground is going to make things difficult for R15. Knocks down one of the players. No finish yet to follow. Bestia is also going to take some shots from Bad Boy, as Bad Boy is just hunting them now. Oh, but Garen is so good. Takes out one more player. Denver up on the high ground is going to be finished as well. That's difficult, because you've lost your player who's anchoring the rest of the team and trying to keep R15 from pushing you down.
Just a second earlier, it was looking so close, but now all 4 members up for R15, and DN is knocked out once again, giving R15 a hot start to the game with 4 kills already. And this is when the Lions get dangerous, Twiggy, because they have 4 kills, and we saw them get 19 earlier today. So that might be the start of the end for these other squads. Meanwhile, it's the start of the end for Hags, potentially. Milo is knocked out, but Onu continues the onslaught, dropping Rivera and picking up another flush as well. So this might be the time to disengage for Hags, but they are stuck in the middle of this POI. Not an easy way out, as Onu picks up their down member, and now a 4v2 situation for Onu to potentially pick up a full 8-kill start to game number 3.
That's massive for them. See if they can finish off Hags here. Just hiding up at the top of the houses. I mean, what more can you do? Can't run away. You're surrounded by Onu players. Milo is just going to walk his way up the stairs. That's 1 knock. Only 1 player left standing. Oh, not able to find a second. They'll be able to get a res possibly here. Finish first. Points more important than keeping your members alive, apparently. They will be able to get the res.
Milo, the sacrificial lamb there, Twiggy.
Another knock actually just came out through the window. Santi trying to find anything through the little gap under the glue wall here. Edward staying alive somehow. Slows down, he can't get up the stairs. The glue wall is blocking the way. Let me give it a go, says Prince, and also knocks his head on the glue wall. Here they come. They'll be able to get up now. Hags hiding here. Charging the shotgun, it's not going to happen. Hags! They've equalized it to a 2v2. If they can find any more, it's going to spell disaster for Laonu. They'll find 1 knock, but it's traded out to 1v1. Edward trying to defend the top of the stairs. Santi right at the bottom will be able to res Mario. Now they can get that finish. And to 1v2 again. Laonu, they've already got 7 points, but they can't get out of the house now. Edward has dropped down and stopped Santi from leaving. That's a finish as well. It's 1v1. Hags have got themselves 3 points. Laonu 7. Do they just want to disengage and go for reses? It looks like that's what Mario's doing.
We are in a last chance qualifier. You can't be giving up wins like this. Hags picks up 3 kills and almost entirely wipes Laonu, who was on the front foot at one point with a full 2-man advantage and now running for the hills, as well as Edward, who has a vending machine at their disposal to potentially pick up teammates, excuse me. I'm flabbergasted by that entire situation, and I am honestly so disappointed by the performance there of Onu, especially with where they are in the leaderboard right now, sitting in 3rd. They are not comfortable enough to be throwing games like that.
Absolutely unfortunate there, and Hags has actually just kept control of that. Faked the leave so that Laonu gets out of there. Now they can buy back their members. You can see them dropping in on the map at the southeast area. Edward can now leave. I think Mario is actually waiting for him to leave so he can get in on it himself. Look at that. Nice angle from the top there. As the rest of Hags, they drop in. It's once again, that's so unfortunate for Laonu that they can't finish the job.
Oh, no. And Hags getting picked up means that this situation has become absolutely dire for Laonu. But Hags, even with 3 kills, is not in a comfortable position quite yet. They're close to the edge of ring and have command post completely open. Meanwhile, Dual Kings is looting up the sub down in the southern side. Look at how stacked the southern side of the actual ring is, though. We've got Rambox Gaming, ZRJ, and Zundel already posted up, ready to defend these power spots in the middle of the map. So as these squads walk into it, it's not going to be easy, even though they might be incredibly excited by the prospect of almost completely reversing a wipe against Onu.
Yeah. Dual Kings are here over towards the sub, but the next zone, right in the middle of our first zone, so they're going to have to move no matter where they are if they're towards the edge of the ring right now. Everybody going for early rotations. Zundel likes to play in the middle, so they'll be all the way over there. R15 heading over there from the north as well, I believe, so they'll be coming in close to them. But Dual Kings have played it well so far. Got themselves 2 kills, got themselves 2 reses, and they're all together once again. It's more the loot aspect that they're missing out on right now.
I love that you point that out. I was just about to say 1 medikit and 2 glue walls. Not exactly what you want to run into a fight with, especially with so many squads picking up multiple members and looting multiple POIs. Again, the spread of these drops has been so contested, so there's still plenty of, I guess, what you could call on the way POIs, random houses and things like that, where you can loot up and potentially continue to fight. SKB continuing to fight against the wrong people. Even on the low ground, R15 is so dangerous, Karina, with the sniper there. And that's the loot situation you want to see, with 12 glue walls and still plenty of rings left to go.
CRJ heading towards the Hags squad. The Hags squad that just dropped here. They just got themselves revived by their teammate. Edward has joined them now. They also, CRJ, have been revived recently. I'm just going to head on past them, get to the ring first. They might be able to guard them here, but Hags, they open up the fighting. Viz is down on the ground already. But Rivera is down as well. They might have to push forward if they want to keep this fight going.
And Hags seems to have gotten real excited by that Odu fight, because they're just shooting fantastic shots down the field right now, punishing ZRJ, who is sitting on the edge. Normally, this is a very punishable position that Hags is in, but just like that, they're picking up kills. And Zundel is also taking shots at ZRJ, so not easy here. But the medic situation is not great here for Hags either, especially after getting picked up on that plane. So we'll see what they can do, as ZRJ has to run into the blue once again with 1 member left. ZRJ with a rough start to Kalahari.
Yeah. They've got to head all the way around now. Try and find a revive station that is not being occupied by another team. That's the challenge, right? You go in as 1 person, you can't be sure if there's another team there. You got to play it slowly, and I think they will be able to buy back their members now. Here they come. R15 official. Got a good start to the game. Taking out the points leaders. They need to keep that up, though, if they want to stay in the top 4 that they so hard earned their place for.
And even though they almost got wiped, look at the kill count there, Twiggy, from Onu.
Oh, yeah. Onu doing incredibly well for themselves once again. So consistent today. No booyahs yet, but absolutely getting the points on the board. That's for sure. Oh, no. He won't be able to get his first round the corner. IT Official are biting back into things after a disappointing end to last game, getting stuck outside of the ring, trying to protect another team from getting through. Wave comes through. I think Laonu might disengage.
Yeah, they've got to, because IT is on that keep out game, already taking down Milo. But Santi with a really sneaky angle here right outside of the buildings and on this wall. But Prince is traded out. MVP now walking out to potentially finish off Prince. And the team is split. 2 members left of Laonu. One of them driving out in the Batmobile, but purple. And Mario and Santi just going to have to try and pick up the pieces once again. IT Official claiming even more parts of Onu's already fragile team.
Over by Bayfront here. Lots of teams have actually joined from different locations here. ZRJ is actually just around the corner and taking shots. Gets himself a point on the board. Grifo, after having rezzed a couple members of the team, actually doing very well for himself to just find 1 kill. I mean, I don't think the idea here is to really aggress against IT Official. Just getting that point on the board is really important for these guys. So IT Official are just going to leave it as well. They're not interested in that. They have a ways to go to get to this next zone. Leave it alone. Get through here. You can see on the other side of the map, Hags are fighting against Dual Kings. I think Dual Kings also, yeah, being fired down upon by Rambox Gaming. They're on 1 kill already. They got one of them down.
And RBG might be picking up a lot more here on the side of Dual Kings. They've got a couple grenades on hand as well, but they're holding onto them for now. They don't seem to be super rich in the grenade department, so they're trying to find these kills without employing the use of that in case they need to defend against another squad. Like, I don't know, R15, who definitely in a very dangerous position and plenty of medkits and glue walls to work with, so they're going to look down on Ghost and, oh, narrowly misses a very hefty haircut from the likes of Bestia.
Absolutely. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, at this point, well, Skullbreakers. Let's talk about Skullbreakers real quick. Because they have not had a good time whatsoever. The absolute scenes it would cause if they managed to somehow get themselves into the top 4 by the end of today. 4 games left to go, obviously. But they are on a current total of 26 points. With 7 cumulative kills over all games. Oh, Dual Kings are down. That's going to hurt for them. They're in 6th place currently. Rambox Gaming in 5th. Rambox Gaming winning out that fight actively pushes down one of their competitors whilst getting them closer to that top 4.
Yep, and RBG definitely vying for a top 4 spot, whereas, like you said, SKB just really struggling, but they did not struggle to finish off Santi there, which is going to feel good in the back pocket. An extra kill there. SKB is going to need a lot more. You are totally right. They have the rest of this game and 3 more games to make up just a lot of ground, and none of these squads are really looking to give that up very easily. RBG losing a member, but quickly picking them back up. And this is where the resources come into play massively, because they don't have the best spot in the ring, and they have to continue to defend not just themselves, but potentially also aggress on the teams that already have decent positions. So they are holding on to those grenades and glue walls for dear life, because they are going to need them very soon. Potentially on this fight against Hags, they're going to run up the same lane potentially as the zone starts to close, and only one team will really be able to make it out alive unless they pivot and run into Zundel and R15, which does not seem like the favorable decision to make.
Zundel will run down on R15, and R15, they seem to be winning out on kills as 1-8 are also aggressing here. Zundel will try and just pick up any scraps left over. 1A still alive, but R15 still alive, and Zundel are now fully pushing in. I'll finish off a couple members of 1A here and actually just push all the way. They've taken no damage whatsoever. They're very happy about the fight that they've just found going on. IT Official, in the meantime, they've been eliminated by ZRJ, the team that was just kind of hunting them from before. That charge shotgun does so much, but Zundel just about finish off the team before it got too hairy there. 2 knocks, but they get them both back up. Now 1A Esports somehow stay alive for even longer after losing a lot of players to R15 there.
is looking pretty good for Zundel, though. They managed to break through the fortress of glue walls that R15 had built up, and 1A building one of their own to try and recover here. They're down to just 2 members, though, potentially 3. I can't quite see from the revive there, but it does look like a 4v2 situation to control this building. Both teams have to walk, though. We have 5 seconds left before this zone starts to close. Zundel looking in from the outside. Rampbox Gaming also potentially finding some LOS, and Munoz dropping way earlier than they really should be in this attack against 1A. 1A defending so effectively with the charge buster there, and this is just falling apart so quickly. Jeff and Latrac have to clean this up sooner than later before these other squads look to get involved, and neither squad is in zone, Twiggy.
Yeah, somehow this fight is still going on. 1A taking a lot of damage. There we go. Finally, it's over, and now Zundel can separate themselves from that and head in towards this next zone, but still, they're so far outside of it now, and they have to keep running for a long way to get down to the rest of the teams, as ZRJ seem to be doing absolutely brilliantly for themselves. Skullbreakers have got 2 kills on the board, but they need a lot more than that to catch up to the rest of the teams. Sorry, not Zundel. Rambox Gaming, though, seem to be the team that is happiest with their placement.
And they really piled it into that building, which led to the demise of at least 2 squads that we definitely had our eyes on, 1A and R15, the ones that have to make up quite a bit of ground to jump into that top 4 position. It looks like they potentially won't do it today, or at least in this game, as RBG, the last members of the top 4, still in this game with an okay position to play, but not a lot of resources, not a lot of glue walls left for any of these squads. 6 meds and 0 glue walls for Jordan, who's trying to use the cactus as the final bit of cover and potentially grief RBG. He gets knocked down. We have Zundel, who is now going to walk in as well. ZRJ eliminated with 8 kills. RBG still sitting on 6, but only has 3 members, and it's a 3v3, Twiggy. Let's see what goes down.
Zundel Esports are pushing in with a lot of force now, but 1 player already knocked for them as RBG start to fight back. It's Rambox Gaming that lose out on the fight, and Zundel Esports with a much-needed booyah.
Ooh, that looked so good, and Zundel made a big statement here because they just struggled in day 1, and they didn't have the biggest games on Kalahari, but they owned Kalahari for the first game at least. Wow, what a cleanup there. Eliminating RBG, importantly enough, because that is a lot of points that are being denied in the grand scheme of things. RBG now potentially sweating even more than they were before the start of that game.
Yeah, that's going to even things up in the midfield quite a lot here. A lot of those teams towards the end were in that, you know, kind of middle space between 5th and 8th or so. So that's actually going to even things up quite nicely. It's going to bring all of them a lot closer to the top 4. Once again, our top 2 teams getting knocked out. First and second, Navy Esports and DN Esports both getting knocked out in the first 2 places. Neither of them are going to take home any points in this game once again. It's going to bring everything so much tighter up together. We can actually take a look at the first fights where Navy Esports lost out to Laonu to begin with, and then very soon we'll see DN Esports get wiped by R15.
And I don't know if Onu's phone survived after this debacle. I would have definitely thrown it across the room, giving up a huge lead. And yeah, here we're going to see a little bit of that disaster that was Hags. They're going to torment their nightmares, I'm sure, after what was essentially a free KP collection into a near loss that eventually led to their demise a lot earlier in the standings than they would have expected. So Onu now potentially going to fall in the standings out of 3rd place, which is where they were sitting before, and potentially out of the top 4 as well.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate for them. R15 official, again with a good game. One that they also needed. 1A Esports trying to defend that kind of top 4 position. Not amazing, but good enough, I feel like, to keep their position as long as other teams don't pop off too hard. But Zundel Esports, this is something they really, really needed. I think they will move up quite significantly with a 23-point game.
A 23-point game is exactly what they need if they want to make sure they keep fighting for those top 4 spots. But looking at Rambox Gaming, very respectable, which means that Rambox might be safe for now. 15 points and 6 kills. ZRJ, though, we were kind of talking them down a little bit in the mid-game, but they continue to collect kills here and there, actually out-killing Rambox and outscoring them with a 3rd-place performance. So I don't know where they picked up those extra pieces to continue solidifying their position in that lobby, but here we see him in 3rd place, and in true ZRJ fashion, just kind of finding themselves in top placements where we didn't expect them initially.
Yeah, I mean, after a 48-point day yesterday, they're really going to want that kind of performance to keep going later on. I'll remind you, we only have 3 maps left before the LCQs are over, and the top 4 are separated from that bottom 8. The bottom 8 leaving us for good. That top 4 are going to be heading into the grand finals. There you can see Zeus, maybe not carrying the team, but absolutely doing a lot of work for them, getting that win there. But it's such a well-distributed kills game.
The end of the LCQ is knocking on all these teams' doors. So for players like Zeus and players like Diablo from R15 that end up doing a lot of that heavy lifting, they're going to have to lift even more because the standings have just completely locked themselves out, at least for now. Still the same top 4, Laonu and Rambox, just gatekeeping there with 89 and 94 points. But 1A, 85, and Zundel, 82, overtaking R15. And honestly, just making a very scary statement for the squads that are in 4th and 3rd. And Navy tied with Laonu, so even they aren't safe.
Yeah, after 3 disappointing games, it does really put you in that situation where, you know, they had a big gap at the end of yesterday from the rest of the squads. They ended on 90 points yesterday. The closest to them was on 66. That was Rambox Gaming, who are now on 89. And I mean, they've only gained 4 points today. That is by far the worst performance of any team of either day of the LCQs so far. And yeah, that's really not what you need when you're trying to close out this stage of the tournament. You're now only, 9 points away from being eliminated. Really need to pick things up in these last 3 games. We'll see what they can do. They didn't have a great purgatory yesterday, so maybe this next game of Kalahari is where they need to get all their points.
And if DN left a bad taste in your mouth, I don't blame you, because seeing them have a rough game like that on the first map of Kalahari, it's definitely a little shaky, especially when they're facing off against R15 on that hot drop. At least for this time around, of course, R15 shifts around the map. So we might see a bit of a shift there and a bit of a longer game from DN, which is just so dangerous because even though they might not be worrying about qualification, all the other teams are worrying about DN. DN are kind of the Reapers right now that tend to collect a lot of kills whenever they stay alive, rolling into the mid and late game. So I can't wait to find out whether the second half of Kalahari will be any different. And I can't wait to see what the second half of our games are going to look like and whether DN will continue the dominance or squads like R15 are going to continue to vie for those top 4 spots. But Twiggy, I think we've got something a little special to show the people who have joined us today. Talk to us a little bit about what is so exciting about Season 2 of the Free Fire Pro Series.
Absolutely. As we wrap up our LCQs, we're going to head to a quick break, but we are going to give you a little bit of entertainment during that break. We got a little quick explainer video from a very smart, very funny, very attractive, amazing man who lives very close to me, in fact, about that Free Fire World Series, of which we have 1 spot available for the North America squad. We'll see you in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Stick around for some more exciting content.
Season 2 of the Free Fire Pro Series for North America is now well underway, with our 24 group stage teams fighting to make it into the grand finals. And with a prize pool to the tune of $50,000, the battle is reaching a fever pitch. Could the stakes get any higher? Why, yes, they could, with our grand finalist winners earning themselves a spot in the Free Fire World Series.
For the first time in professional Free Fire, North America will be granted a slot into the play-ins of the Free Fire World Series taking place in Sentosa, Singapore in May. The Free Fire Pro Series will crown not just the Season 2 champion, but the first North American representative for the World Series as well. What should our home team expect from their first step into international play? Let's find out. The Free Fire World Series is the culmination of all professional Free Fire circuits, spanning 13 regions around the world. It is the biggest stage of Free Fire esports, where the cream of the crop fight to prove not only that they're the best in the world as a team, but as their home region. As an offline in-person tournament, all competitors will play live on stage alongside their teammates and their opponents. Starting on May 14th, our Free Fire Pro Series champions will join 11 other squads for the play-in stage of the tournament. The North American representative will face off against the first seeds from Taiwan and Pakistan, as well as the second seeds from Brazil, the CIS, Indonesia, India, Latin America, MCP, MENA, Vietnam, and the current reigning champion region of Thailand. The play-in teams will battle it out across Bermuda, Kalahari, and Purgatory to rack up as many points as possible with both final placements and kills. But only the top 2 teams will qualify for the World Series Finals, joining the 10 teams seeded directly from their region. With last year's World Series prizes amounting to a massive $2 million, we can expect another colossal prize pool for 2022, with teams taking home a cut just for making it to the tournament. The 2021 World Series champions Evo's Phoenix from Thailand took home the lion's share of $500,000. On their way to the crown, they claimed 4 booyahs of the 6 games played in the finals, with 48 kills and 113 points.
But the Free Fire World Series is so much more than just a competition for a cash prize. It's an international spectacle celebrating Free Fire players from around the world, from the casual player to the full-time competitor. And with so much content, music, and highlights, it'll be a joy to cheer on our North American representatives at the Free Fire World Series. The Free Fire World Series play-ins begin on May 14th, with grand finals taking place a week later on May 21st. There'll be a multitude of broadcasts covering all the action in several different languages. But before all that, we need to crown our North American champions to represent the region in Sentosa. So tune in on YouTube and Twitch live to see who will be winning the North American Free Fire Pro Series for us to cheer on the world stage. Oh no, how am I getting down?
vibe strong. Keep the party going till the break of dawn. From the warehouse warehouse to the rave spot. Keep the vibe strong. Keep the party going till the break of dawn. I'm a house head, I'm a raver, I'm a bass head, I'm a snow. Music, my religion, it's a message from beyond. I'm a house head, I'm a raver, I'm a bass head, I'm a snow. Music, my religion, it's a message from beyond. Yo, with my wordplay, check what I say.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our second half of the second day of the Free Fire Pro Series LCQs. It's time to wrap things up, I think. We've got 3 games left to go, and the teams are all fighting for their position in that top 4 out of the 12 teams we've got going on here. Reminder that only the top 4 are going to be moving on in the competition. The bottom 8 completely eliminated. They've had their first chance in the group stage, and they've had their second chance here today. But we've got to wrap all this up right now. So how are you doing, Josue? You ready for this?
I am so excited, Twiggy, and there are exactly 3 more opportunities for all the squads that have been dropping the ball to really pick it up and start scoring big points. We've got 1 more game on Kalahari, and we've got both our games left to go on Purgatory, where we know a lot of these squads will fire it up. But first things first, that second half of Kalahari is going to have to change for a lot of these squads. I mean, you've got the ZRJs, the SKBs, some of these squads that just need so many more points than they're getting right now, and they're not just going to have good games. They're going to have great games if they expect to find themselves in the top 4.
Yeah, and teams like Navy, who had a great day yesterday and found themselves in number 2 by only, a margin of 15 points away from top place. They're now how many points away from the top place? Probably a good 40, 50 points difference between them and the top there. 40 it is, 41 in fact. And now they're right on the edge of that elimination zone, and so many teams are right around there. You can see the difference between 2nd and 7th is only a matter of 25 points. That's absolutely nothing. No, 15, sorry. That's absolutely nothing to take over here. So, like, these top, from 8th onwards, I feel like all of these have an easy chance of getting into that top 4. It's all about how they play against each other. Here's Navy Esports, second currently against R15 Official, who is in 7th right now. R15 Official didn't have a good first day, but they are definitely having a good day right now. You can see their average kills well above that of Navy Esports. Average placement not that bad either. You can see only difference really is that booyah and the fact that Navy has played more games.
Yep, Navy has at least 2 games up on R15, and lacking that booyah has kind of come up for R15, but from what we saw in game number 1, sometimes you don't even need it when you could pick up enough kills. Their game style is very volatile, though, just due to the fact that they drop hot, right? They drop blue zone every time, so sometimes, regardless of how many squads are there, they're going to be dropping there and potentially either throwing their game or picking up anywhere from 4 to 8 kills to start the game. So this is the playstyle that R15 has chosen to adopt throughout the entire tournament, throughout the entire group stage. They made this work, and here we're seeing it work fantastically, even with 2 games down. Let's find out, though, if Kalahari will continue to give them decent drops against some of these top squads, because Navy, one of the squads that is, of course, trying to defend in that 2nd place spot, tied with our 3rd place squad, and R15, who is currently in 7th, but hey, that's really not a lot of ground to make up. In all things considered, they've done it before, and they might be able to do it again.
Yeah, it's really only a gap of 1 good game that is going to make the difference between all of these squads fighting for 4th place. You can see it's evened out so much since yesterday, as all our squads colourfully drop onto Kalahari for the last time. Some of these squads, 8 of these squads, it's going to be the last time they drop on Kalahari in the Free Fire Pro Series for several months here. So they really need to make it count right now if they want to get into the grand finals.
And already a nice close-up of R15, who might be dropping either on top of Zundel or Navy. A little bit hard to tell here with this angle. But Dual Kings in an early fight with ZRJ. Both these squads need a lot of points, and they are already picking up early ones here. Junior going down to the likes of Oscuro, and there is the time turner to try and turn it around. They do indeed. Oscuro going down, but quickly traded out once again. ZRJ very much on the back foot, but they're able to pick up a little bit more here. 2 members of DK fallen, and Camus is there with the Charge Buster to clean up the fight. ZRJ eliminated right off the bat, and DK with 4 kills to their name, potentially carrying that into a huge game that they definitely need to climb the rankings.
Really, really promising for Dual Kings. They are currently on 73 points in 8th place, which is not too far off of that 4th place that they need to get to. It's only, a matter of 16 points from there. That's a really important fight that's making up a lot of ground and making it difficult for ZRJ to get anywhere near that top area now. They're also down in, 8th, 10th, 9th. So really difficult for them to make up all those points. Now they've been eliminated with absolutely 0 there. R15 seem to have taken a casualty, but they've got them back up. Good disengage from them. Zundel characteristically landing on Refinery. They're just going to wait once again for teams to come into their area. Landing on Refinery, you get a good 5-10 minutes to loot up without even having to move, because that first zone is always going to be on top of you. The second zone, each one is still likely to have Refinery within it.
Absolutely. And R15 there, I'm curious to know where they ended up losing that member, because they have this blue zone all to their lonesome. Old Hampton, a great spot to pick up loot, and with the blue zone, they will be definitely stacked up with plenty of good weapons and equipment. But Zundel is doing a great job here of adapting to their lobby, and I think this is something that has not been said enough by just the community in general. The fact that contested drops are great. You might pick up some early KP, but when you have an LCQ lobby where the slate is wiped clean, they're choosing to adapt to the playstyle that we've seen from the likes of Virus Gaming and Pisar from our group stage that have already made themselves into the grand finals. So taking that center zone, they do have a little bit of a comfortable early game where they can loot up and potentially have plenty of loot going into the mid game.
Here we go. We see Laonu right up against Hags. Hags, a team that made things so difficult for Laonu last game, like just holding on by a thread in that fight and making it just, turning it from a fight that was not in their favor whatsoever to a fight that absolutely dismantled Laonu and made it so that they never even got into the end of last game. And they see them there, just waiting, biding their time, hoping that Laonu pushes onto them. In the meantime, here, Skullbreakers are chosen to head towards R15. Still have every member alive. They still seem to just lose a member every now and then. You can see, actually, Skullbreakers do have a kill on the board. I'm pretty sure that is from eliminating a R15 player. Now, if they can get any more than that, it'll be very nice for them. Although, I think they're so far away from that top 4 that... I hate to say it, but I don't see them coming back whatsoever, especially not if Clubber just takes a shotgun to the face. That's going to make it a lot more difficult. There's another one down. Diablo starting things off massive with 2 kills.
And consider this for a moment. R15 might have just let their members fall so they could get their prey closer to their cave. And already Diablo picking up a full kill and potentially another full squad wipe. Dalba is dropped though, and it is a bit of a tighter race to the end of the fight. They've disengaged for the most part, and now Bestia doing their best to continue to fend off the squad. But R15 there picking up some very well-earned KP, defending against SKB and leaving them in shambles for the rest of Game 4.
Yeah, and it is leaving them that they're doing. You can see they saw them leave. They saw Polonki get out of that. Not going after him, though. Look at him go. Getting themselves some points and just leaving their crippled prey to limp off into the woods here. It's an interesting play from them. Skullbreakers, I guess, not too big of a threat for R15 right now anyway, so getting themselves some free points is always a nice thing. A lot of teams around here. Duel Kings like this. High ground on top of the watchtower over at Command Post. But will it work out for them? It is a difficult place to get out of. You know, if you do get shot down from on there, if one of your players is knocked up there, it's difficult to get away from it. And surrounded by Zundel, Launu, and Navy Esports, they could find themselves in a spot of trouble.
And La Onu already a member down, able to pick one up, thankfully. But there is plenty of opponents to deal with for the time being. DK, though, playing that power spot to perfection for the time being and taking down a member of Zundel. They are trying to play tower defense to the best of their ability. And Navy on the low ground as well might have to deal with them soon. But Onu, amidst the run for the hills, is going to run into 1A, who will be collecting this kill point for themselves. There is 1 kill on the board for them. They're on the edge of command post as well, so they know that there's at least a couple more squads that they have to worry about. But Onu's game plan just falling apart at the worst possible time in the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, they are up in that top 4. They do just need to defend it at this point, so I mean, they're not in the placement points yet either. They don't have any kills, obviously, in this game, so it's a difficult situation for them. I feel like the idea now is just to stay well away from everybody. Get into the top 5 teams without taking an engagement, and that's your best chance of getting points, if nothing else. And you don't need too many points. You know, you've got a little bit of a gap between you and the closest team over at 5th. So maybe it is just about playing it slowly from now.
And they are going to potentially pick up that revival, which I will mention might actually be part of R15's long con. They know they need a lot of points, and so if they already feel confident taking down SKB, they might just let them revive and take them down. And again, we can see on the mini-map there on the very far western side of Foundation, R15 claiming the remnants of that injured prey, taking out the member of SKB that they let run earlier. So, yeah, R15 already hungry on the hunt. RBG also hungry for hunting down the members of Onu that are left. The revival did go down, and Mario has dropped nearby, but they are also knocked down. And Kevin now is going to clean up Milo while the rest of Rambox defends against the Onu members, dropping with white equipment and honestly not a lot of hope left.
Super important stopping them from doing too much there. If you let them get away after getting those reses off, suddenly you're in this situation where you've just let La Onu get all of their strength back. Getting it off even earlier, getting that kill even earlier would have been very nice for them. But taking that 1 kill is probably nice as well. Rambox Gaming, again, already in the top 4. Not by a margin of too many points. 1A right behind them. 4 points behind them with 85. They're currently on 89. So they do need every point they can get just to, you know, cushion that a little further. Even if 1A aren't having the best time of it themselves. Duel Kings, well, this tower has been very fruitful for them. As one of esports have lost one of their players already to them.
And unfortunately for ONU, it seems like they just keep picking up members to continue feeding the teams that are right below them. So it's definitely a dangerous predicament here as 1A, one of those squads trying to pick up the extra kills, getting knocked down. And DK right now, the Kings of the Hill, dual Kings and Kings of the Mountain for the time being. Navy still playing underneath them. And yeah, great spot for them to play right now. They need to continue getting those placement points. And this is what we mentioned earlier, right? Playing those power spots for the kills is what they need to do. They cannot just walk their way into high enough placements, because with such a kill-heavy lobby and the inflation of points due to all of these revivals that we've already seen just in this game, DK need to pick up kills on top of playing these great spots that they find themselves in.
Yeah, you can see Laonu here having revived 2 of those members after their reviver unfortunately sacrificed their life for them. Long rotation, and they're actually in a nice place to just kind of coast out this game. They don't need to engage in too much by going around to the west here, as not many teams are around on that side, although they are some pretty deadly teams. Saying that, Navy and R15 have definitely at different stages in the LCQs put in an absolute shift. Navy are just playing this slowly. Once again, this is one of these things where they've not had any success yet today. 3 games, and they've come away with 4 points from those 3, which is absolutely uncharacteristically bad from them. At this point, does the strategy change to let's just sit around and wait? Just grab ourselves some placement points, because that's something we do not have right now.
And even though we might not have expected him to be this far down, we also have to consider that every team might have gone back from day one and just looked over their gameplay and decided, hey, we didn't do this quite right. We need to come back. We need to do this different. Navy was bullying us here. R15 was missing here. All of these things have to be considered by these squads, and potentially the homework being done has just vaulted a lot of the squads like R15 and even ZRJ to better placements and better kill points being found throughout the lobby. But right now, it's Santi who might be found out on the wrong side of this engagement, getting dropped early, almost dropping Delbo out of the sky. But Santi getting absolutely obliterated and trying to trade it out, but it won't happen. R15 gets there first and 7 kills to their name with 9 squads left.
Zundel leave Refinery for a matter of seconds, and suddenly 2 teams are dropping on top of it. R15 are the ones who come away with all the kills, come away with 3 on top of their 4 existing, now 7 kills on the board, and they're going to be really looking to make that push in. They need, well, technically they will have needed only 10 to get up into the top 4. Obviously, everybody else in the top 4 is still playing for points, so they might need a few more than that to get up in there. But this is very promising for them, for a team that was right at the bottom at the end of yesterday.
And Rambox Gaming and 1A, I believe, all still alive. Samu actually picking up a member right as I say that. So definitely a lot of teams that are still left alive vying for those top spots. But teams like Hags can't risk throwing their games off of bad performances right now. And they're looking at Bad Boy. They might have caught them out of position, so definitely a promising engagement, but they take a lot of damage and now have to find a quick disengage lest they be punished for their hubris by DN, who has the buildings to play, the rooftops. Fantastic LOS there that they are holding, but Hax does not want to give this up.
Yeah, Bad Boy did a really good job of getting away around the corner. Sobri is going to be taken down by the DN squad. And again, one of these teams that has been playing incredibly aggressively over the past 2 days is now kind of taking it a bit slower. That'll be their first kill on the board for the game, for this map as well. They didn't get any kills last game, getting eliminated by R15 immediately. So this is where they really need all of this. Oh, but Venver is knocked out. This is R15 again. It's R15. They joined in the fight.
Huge.
Oh my god, R15 just hate DN Esports.
And R15, look at that spot. It's so dangerous now for DN. It looks like DN's earlier contest left a bad taste in R15's mouth, so they are here for revenge, punishing them on the back end of potentially a wipe on Hags. They did end up taking that win, but looking now, they might be punished very soon.
Yeah, you can see his Zundel fighting IT official. Rambox Gaming is right behind them. Got Navy, who have finally moved their way into command post after a long stint of sitting outside of it, just underneath Duel Kings. Duel Kings are also going to have to take a move here, as you can see, heading over towards next rock. Ooh, that was close. Almost missed that. That was very close to an accidental death there, and they would have been in an awkward position to have been knocked, but luckily not enough fall damage for that one. Navy are now in a fight with 1A Esports. They're already down a player. They really need to be careful about this one, but Ramon's in by himself. Chino's already down on the ground. 1A Esports are surrounding them. 1A Esports might be looking to overtake Navy in the overall standings here, as they just haven't found anything to hold on to in any of these games today. They're not the same team we saw yesterday. They're eliminated by 1A Esports.
And it looks like IT was potentially looking to ride up in the whip, but finding a member of Rambox instead. R15 continues to farm people in the kill feed, but 1A, they needed wins like these. They needed to just farm some of these top squads, deciding, hey, you're not scary to us. We deserve to be in the top 4 as well. And here we see them already quickly barreling towards that spot that Navy and potentially Laonu have left in their wake. R15 finishing off DK as well, or at least a couple of members who had a great spot but are now being absolutely railed off of it. R15 with 10 kills, double digits. 1A eliminated by a huge grenade from Sanji, and this is just a mess, Twiggy. This is claiming so many lives. Ring number 5 with Zundel just outside the edge of it.
Yeah, there's so many different things to worry about for all of these teams on the low ground here, especially as the zone is going to be pushing you into a completely open area as we move into our 5th ring. And I mean, R15, they do have a great position for now, but they're going to have to jump down off there very soon. It's Zundel that I feel like have the best positioning here, and with 4 kills already on the board, they could grab themselves a lot of points from this game.
Zundel not doing great in the resource department there, and we see that they actually end up having to invest those healing shots because there are no medkits for Jeff, and it looks like across their team they might only have 1 or 2 to spare, and 0 glue walls on Jeff as well. So not the best loot situation at the very least, but their positioning might be their savior. They are continuing to bully squads on the edge. RBG and Zundel all partaking in bullying the members of R15, who is fully wiped from the lobby off the height. Wow, what a quick way to go, and Rambox Gaming follows shortly after.
Finally eliminated Rambox Gaming there, who have stayed alive for a very long time with only 1 member now. IT official moving in towards the middle of the zone, trying to get themselves using the kerfuffle that was going on earlier to get themselves a little bit of space, but the nades are going to be flung in from Zundel, who have grabbed themselves a nice little bit of hard cover. They're actually going to come all the way around for a flank on these guys. Beto is taken down first. Nothing he could do. No time to react whatsoever. Zundel move in quickly and decisively. Zeus is down on the ground, but it doesn't matter. They've already done enough damage. It's just Sanji left standing for IT official. Sanji trying to do as much damage as possible, not staying alive for long enough, will be taken down 3rd. It's now Zundel versus the final remaining player of DN Esports in Edvin.
Edvin going to try and make a miracle happen here, but Zundel looks on fire. Again, not a lot of resources, not a lot of heals, but this looks about as impossible as it gets. Of course, if Zundel had 1 more member, it'd be a little safer, but Edvin now going to hold out behind these Free Fire crates. Those are not the crates that you want to have as your final resting place, but it is not going to happen there for DN Esports, and the booyah from Zundel, the 2nd one of the day, I believe, and wow, what a way to clean up that game.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant from them, bringing home that game in such spectacular fashion. I mean, obviously a slower game from Zundel. They disengaged from their regular position in Refinery a lot quicker than they usually did, and then it just kind of ramped up from there as after they moved away from that one. Funnily enough, the position they've been in all the time, every time we played in Kalahari, nobody seemed to want to push into there while they were there. So once they moved away from that, they started to encounter some teams and suddenly started getting those kills on the board. But a great finishing play from them. They're not going to take away the most kills of all the squads there, but they are going to take away the most placement points.
And Zundel, I think I might have misspoken there. That is actually going to be their first win of the LCQ. So great job by Zundel there. they had a lot of great activity in the middle of the game, obviously farming up a lot of squads and helping to take down R15 in the end, who just throughout the entire start of the game was picking up kills left and right. You love to see Zundel do this too, because they need every single bit of point that they can find in these last couple of games. And yeah, just great patience there from Zundel most of all. I mean, holding down that building, not getting too greedy, realizing that they don't have as many resources as some of these other squads, and they are able to effectively excise IT from the lobby and clean up the game for a booyah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is great for them. This is going to push them so high up. The second booyah of the day. And I mean, this is just so much work that they put in here on Kalahari. It's definitely pushed them into the top 4. They were so close to it before. Now they're definitely into it, and I think Navy are going to be very much in trouble. As we see, they only got 3 points, but there's Zundel with 21 points, our leaders so far with, I think they were on 135 before this game. Now DN Esports extending their lead a little bit. Zundel Esports trying to push in a little closer. IT Official take away 14 points, getting 3rd place, and Rambox Gaming very close. But R15 Official get themselves 17 points on the board for a 5th place.
And I realized just now why this was so strange to me. For a second, I thought Zundel had not gotten 2 wins, but it was actually because they won both games on Kalahari. They stamped their names solidly into the red sands of the middle map to put down 21 points and vault themselves easily into the top 4, even though teams like DN and IT and Rambox are still fighting for every single scrap of kills and placement that they can find. LPTM from 1A doing a lot of work, as well as Sanji, who we saw with a huge grenade at one point. I mean, everyone's just finding kills left and right, so again, no one is safe on any of these maps.
Yeah, everything is now so close. I think in a second we'll be able to take a look at the overall standings, but things are just ramping up so much. Look at this, 99 for Rambox Gaming, 97 for Navy, and then we just go down numerically. 96 for R15 Official, 95 for Laonu, 94 for 1A Esports. There is a matter of 5 points between being into the next stage of the tournament and being completely out from the rest of the Free Fire Pro Series until their next attempt at getting through. Like, this is a massive, massive opportunity for all of these teams to take Purgatory and turn it into a way of getting through this. And Navy Esports have dropped from 2nd to 4th in 1 game. They're now all the way down 1 point away from being eliminated.
And it is so difficult to continue finding just performances that are going to vault you to the top. Zundel understanding that every single game that they make it past sort of the mid game and finding themselves in good zones might make the difference. Now every team in the middle of the pack is looking for exactly that. They're going to look for that sort of sun run in the last 2 games, because everything is so close and everyone is fighting just as hard. You said it before with the World Series, right? It's the passion that is putting all of these players forward. So they're going to have to bring every ounce of it to Purgatory as we get closer and closer to sealing the results of the Last Chance Qualifier and promoting 4 teams to the Grand Finals.
Yeah, as you said, we're getting closer and closer to this one. Only 2 maps left to go, both on Purgatory. A map where DN Esports, they went ham yesterday. 2 booyahs in 2 Purgatory games for them on there. So we're expecting them to maintain their lead at the very least. Let's take a look at Navy Esports, because they've really not had a great day today. I think their average placement after yesterday was about 4.2. They're now down to 6.7 after only 4 more games. Their average kills has dropped down from somewhere around 8 to somewhere around 5 now. So really, really not having the best day of it, and it's made their stats look very similar to a lot of these teams that are right at the bottom of the leaderboard right now.
And really just not finding a lot of breakout fights anymore. They did a little bit in day 1, right? They were finding these engagements that were getting them a lot of kill points. But looking at the average kills for each member, it's not that any member is not pulling their weight. In fact, it's just the fact that they're not finding good fights in general. They're just not winning big game fights, finding 4-team wipes, or 4-player wipes, excuse me, on full squads. So it's just getting harder and harder for this team to feel comfortable. At this point, they've entirely lost the lead. They've entirely lost that buffer that they had, and now they have to perform on Purgatory just as well as they did in the first couple of games of day number 1. They need to find the success here, because R15, Laonu, I mean, every squad is just, they smell blood in the water, and Navy is one of those squads that might be feeding the Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to really guarantee that they stay up in this one is by getting a top 3 performance and getting more points than, you know, at least the rest of the table here. At least 9 people, 9 teams in this leaderboard. They're going to have to be out here in both of these next 2 maps to guarantee their place in the grand finals now, with only 1 point separating them and the next position. It just means that, you know, they could have coasted their way to the finish line at the start of today if they'd have just kept it up, but they just didn't, and now they're forced to perform, and that's a lot of pressure.
And hopefully they're one of those squads that performs under pressure, because we have seen it time and time again. It's so easy to crack under the immense amount of stakes that we've got going down, right? This is just one step in potentially the flight into Free Fire World Series, right? The massive propulsion of the NA scene and potentially being the one to represent that is just so exciting. But they have to get through this first, and SKB and ZRJ have to get through each other right now if they're going to continue climbing the standings. And Polanki already not looking like they're going to do that today. Already down in health.
Yeah. Both of these teams are going to need to make up well over 30 points to get up into the top 4 over the next 2 maps. So, I mean, ZRJ closest on 69 points, but SKB are down on 36 points. I don't think there's any chance of them getting through into the grand finals at this point. So ZRJ really need to win this fight and just make sure that they can start this game off right at the very least. Take out the current lowest points of the group. It looks like they're doing that. They have only 1 player left to deal with, it looks like. And they'll actually just knife him to death. Lovely. Yep. Out comes the Scythe. Well, only 1 player remaining. Duro over there. Do they spot them? Yep. Duro is getting shot at. They could get themselves a squad wipe to begin with. That'd be a lovely start to the points they need in this. Oh, they're getting eliminated by Duro here. Viz now down on the ground. Can they put in enough bullets? I mean, Duro's only his head is visible. I'm moving a little closer. After those glue balls are placed down, go for a little wraparound here, and they do. They do manage to get that one. SKB Esports, I think now, technically, mathematically, completely out of the runnings for the grand finals. So I think they will be eliminated here. But ZRJ still in with just about a hope.
And 4 kills as well, so plenty of hope to ride the rest of this game. And they have a decent amount of space to work with as well. They're not quite in zone, but they don't have to worry about too many squads quite yet. Of course, we know DN is playing it a little bit slower than they were in day 1, not hunting for kills and not trying to eliminate too many squads early. But speaking of squads getting eliminated early, it might be Navy who is quickly following suit with SKB and IT, the squad that is making their lives infinitely harder in terms of looking to qualify. IT definitely a bit down in the dumps in terms of qualification possibilities, but they are not down and out by any means. So Sanji and the crew picking up a quick kill on the Navy. Hopefully they recover, because Navy is just really on the precipice of failure here with 2 games to go.
Already having lost 1 player, that's really, really not a great start to this game, where you need to be getting probably about 15 points a game to stay afloat in this one. You're only 1 point away from one team. You're 2 points away from another, 3 points away from another. Like, 3 teams could potentially overtake you here and drop you down to 7th place. And I mean, you only need to get dropped 1 position to be completely out of the next stage of the tournament. So, and look at IT here. Look, they're completely surrounding them on all sides, so Navy cannot leave this island.
And, yep, it is going to require a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck, potentially. But ZRJ has to defend here, because they cannot get run over by DN. Even if they vie for those top spots, they need to be able to fight the top teams. And speaking of top teams, the top of this hill is owned by DK currently, who has already taken down Sobri and nearly taking down Rivera. The grenades will start to fly out, which we know can just spell disaster for teams off of 1 good nade. It won't happen here, though. And now Hags potentially in a very precarious situation, putting up glue walls, trading out kills. It is so even right now, and the shotgun fighting has ceased, with DK coming out on top. Hags eliminated from the lobby.
Both of these teams need a lot of points. They're hovering in that space where they're not at the bottom of the leaderboard, but they're also not one of the teams in the close contention with, you know, Navy and Rambox to get into that top 4. So they really need some good performances in these next 2 games. And Dual Kings getting in a good start with 4 kills right towards the start of the game. Skullbreakers and Hags, currently 12th and 10th position, are the first 2 teams eliminated.
And it is so difficult here for squads that are stuck on the island like this. IT does not want to leave, Twiggy. I mean, they just see Navy. They see that this is potentially free KP. Not only that they might want, but that they absolutely need, especially if they know that the squad that has it is currently close to the top 4.
Yeah. You can see now everybody having to think a little bit more about where they're going instead of who they're fighting. DN Esports are very safe with their kill points. They probably don't need to get any points, actually, to stay in this tournament. Obviously, anything you can get is nice. But, yeah, they're probably not too worried about anything right now. So they'll play this one pretty safely, play this one pretty calmly. The rest of the teams are really the teams that need to be worried, and every team needs to be worried right now. You know, one bad performance is going to knock you out of this stage of the tournament. You're competing directly with so many teams who are on the same amount of points as you. So 2 maps is all it takes. One bad map will be enough to knock you out of this tournament.
It'll definitely require a bit of a safe bet from DN Esports, just to make sure that they lock out that top spot. Even if they don't remain in first place, I mean, just the deficit that they have against the other squads, or rather the deficit that the other squads have against them, they're close to 50 points ahead of second place at the moment, which means that, yeah, they can just be really comfortable. They can kind of make these rotations, and I think that might be weighing on the minds of some of these squads. They realize that the squad might be playing it safe. They have no reason to worry about 1A running them down in the building, but then there's squads like 1A that will certainly push your building for the KP, so it's a hard balance. It's really hard to tell what the right game plan is as we get closer and closer to closing out the LCQ.
Yeah. Here come Navy Esports now. They got off of Moat House there.
Uh-oh.
So they are... Oh, no, but R15 are just watching them from the top of this hill. Are they going to wait for them to leave yet? They're going to wait for them to leave and just fire down on top of them. Navy Esports, this could spell the end of their run after such a great first day in the LCQs. If they don't win out this fight, if they don't stave off the attack from R15, it's going to spell absolute disaster for them moving into the end of the LCQs. Unless they bring out an amazing last map. This is really, really tough for them now. They're actually heading back to Boathouse to try and stay away from R15 and get a longer rotation.
And this longer rotation might end up running them into at least one more squad. Here we see DN. We just talked about them playing it safe, but they are far from safe running into potentially R15, who has this hill to play with. And I don't think they were ready for another squad to walk in through the zone. They've given up this height, Twiggy.
Yeah. And Esports take it over. They're getting the kills at the very least, and Navy are now down to 1 member. So R15 are doing well for themselves, even if they have given up their position or control. Only 1 player left to deal with now, and he's just going to run into the zone to try and get away from them. That's such an awkward position for Navy, and it's the last thing they wanted out of this game. But maybe DN Esports could come to their rescue by firing down on top of R15. They have taken the focus away from themselves, and now DN Esports, I mean, taking out R15, this is going to stop R15 from going after the final Navy player. Might give them a chance in this one. Inadvertently, DN could be keeping their closest competition in the tournament.
And the drive-by was there by DN, but look at that. They've had enough. They picked up that kill point. They realized, all right, we wounded them. We'll see them later. We don't care. We're going to move on, get to ring. So great heads-up play from them, not overcommitting to anything they really don't need to. And we'll see them a little bit later, I'm sure. But DK are the ones that we're checking out right now, who are firing down range from this hill on what looks to be the last member of Rambox. And way to hold those angles, Santos, because they just cannot see him quite yet. But they also don't want to drop down. This is the thing with holding power positions like this, is you don't want to give them up for one measly kill. So they're going to hold it down for now, and the last member of Rambox is just praying.
Yeah. Hoping Duel Kings don't find him out here. I mean, Rambox, again, one of these teams that is really contending for this one. They're currently in 3rd, but only by a matter of 2 or 3 points now. So anybody could overtake them at this point. Navy, you can see Chris doing incredibly well to rotate all the way around the outside of the R15 players, who they actually did go straight back to looking for this final Navy member, who is their closest competition right now, to overtake them. Well, he's got away. Chris has got into the next zone. Maybe he can survive a little longer. He's out-survived a couple of teams so far. 1A Esports got eliminated while he was in that fight, so maybe he survives this one. IT Official now right next to R15.
And Garena and the rest of R15 do get picked up. At least Garena picks up 2. Diablo making their best Rambox Gaming impression, also sitting on the bottom of this entire IT squad and just holding out, waiting for reinforcements. They start to walk forward, and this is so risky, but IT does not seem prepared to do anything about it, at least not yet. And they're going to continue just holding this out while R15 shows up to potentially back this up. But we've got DN walking in as well. We've got the last member of Navy falling. And DN does indeed eliminate Navy. They aren't able to survive long enough. And now all these squads have to deal with this next ring and the fact that they aren't inside it.
Yeah, that's really, really tough for Navy. At least they bagged themselves 1 or 2 placement points, but that's not enough to keep them ahead of everybody else. They have had a torrid day. That'll leave them on 9 points over 5 maps. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. Not enough to stay in this competition. We'll see now how Dual Kings, one of the teams looking to overtake Navy, can hold off the current points leaders in DN Esports. Not by standing out in the open, but Ascuro does get a knock. Is it enough to win that fight? They find a second one. This is a lot of points for them. This will be great for trying to get up into that top 4, and right at the right time as well. They find another one. Patojo does get one more down, but that's so many points for Dual Kings. It's now down to 1 member of DN Esports, just trying to run around now. He gets one more knock, but he's just out in the open on absolutely no health. Papi Komos has to reload, has to heal, sorry, and here comes Rambox Gaming. DN Esports eliminated, Dual Kings eliminated, and Rambox Gaming have come out the winners of that fight.
And I feel you there, choking with excitement as DN just hold out for so long. And there is the power of the DN players that are just able to continually turn around close fights like this. And the power of R15, even on the low ground, with a position that is far less favorable than what Rambox has to work with. They are still farming up kills and knocks. They pick up the member of Rambox though, and now they have the height. They have claimed a fantastic position, coming back from the depths of having 2 members left alive all the way up to 4, and potentially more kills on the table for them.
15 official at the top of the hill once again, where they were earlier, gave it up to run after a member of Navy. Luckily, Navy no longer a problem for them. Here comes Zundel, trying to protect their position in the top 4 from a team that were in the top 4 earlier on today. Laonu down to 6th place now, and they'll be staying there if Sundel can keep them away from this game. They've already taken 2 casualties from these guys now. That charge shotgun isn't going to do anything if Electra just shoots you in the face before it can charge. And Sundel winning the fight decisively. There you go, Laonu eliminated, 6th place. They'll be staying where they are for now. Zundel Esports extend their lead from the rest of the squads.
And now we've got so many different storylines that are about to be built potentially. We've got ZRJ still left alive. We've got R15 that continues to farm kills and has pretty decent positioning, but they have to defend it against the low ground with ZRJ below them, Rambox Gaming also below them, and Santos right back where they were just a moment earlier underneath. Dual Kings finally gets picked up while Jordan gets traded out by Garena, and that sniper from Garena is just absolutely unfair. Oh my goodness. Biz going down as well. This is just disastrous for any team that runs into R15.
He's just picking them off one by one. He'll find another onto Grifo. The time turner was up for their final player, but that's not enough to stop the whole team from shooting everything down. He's finding shots there through the tree. So what he's finding, Jordan is by himself now. Suddenly, I think there's one more member of ZRJ somewhere, I'm not sure where. Well away from his teammate who is stuck behind a tree. And R15, they've now found a member of Rambox Gaming. Ober is taken down and flushed, but he's just going to get run over in the end. Jordan, in the end, is going to take him down. R15 still looking good, though. Kill leaders on 6. And they have a nice position at the top of the hill. They're trying to keep the high ground as best they can here.
And I'm very excited for what is potentially a face-off of some of our top snipers in the lobby. We've got Sanji on the side of IT, and of course Garena, who continues to bully ZRJ on the low ground. ZRJ does not have a whole lot of cover to work with. They have some angles though, and it is going to get more and more difficult as this zone closes around them all the way up to zone 5, but only 4 squads left, and really just very little cover to play with.
Yeah, ZRJ and IT official flank the R15 members right to the side here. Jordan finally flushed by Garner there. Look at this. Everybody in different corners of the map. Zundel coming in from the west. You can't quite see them yet. Or the east, sorry. R15 coming in from the west. ZRJ Jr., the last member alive for them. Zundel only have 2 members. R15 with 3. IT official, the only full squad remaining. ZRJ is finished. There you go. R15 finished that one off. They're now on 8 kills, and they're pushing around for more. Zundel Esports still reeling from that attack a little bit. I'm not sure they... Oh, they will see him now. Lectra peeks up from behind the rock.
Oh no, and
Dwayne
just a couple
Johnson.
of glue walls
no.
to defend.
Oh, he has nothing to work with. He's out in the middle of the road, and he's trying to move. Oh, but Garrett is so good with the rifle. And now, IT official are getting knocked down by the rest of R15 as well. Bestia,
No.
he'll find a shot. They're down to 3 members. Sanji just trying to crouch behind anything he can. Bestia will have to move back to the rest of his team, but he gets away unscathed, just about. Oh, an MVP! Garner's going absolutely insane with the sniper rifle. He'll finish that one off. Just 2 more to deal with. They're on 11 kills. 8 of those coming from Garner now. They push all the way in. Garner dealt with by the IT official side, but that's not enough to stop the rest of the team from moving in. And they'll finish it off. R15 official with one of the biggest comebacks of the day I've ever seen. They'll take a booyah and they'll move their way up into the top 4.
What a booyah there from R15. If there was any contest for MVP of that game, oh my goodness, that sniper was disgusting. I don't even know how many kills were picked up there near the end because I was so distracted by the accuracy and the snappiness of what was essentially an R15 cleanup on every single squad left there in the top 4. What a performance from R15. And it was right when they needed it because they are still down in points. But with enough squads getting eliminated on the bubble, that might have been their game to jump into the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to do so much for them as we move forward into our last game of the day. Keep in mind, nothing after this. This is it. The last map of the day is coming up soon. This was the second to last. Our second to last Purgatory map here. And look at this. I mean, Skullbreakers, we didn't expect them to get anywhere near the top 4 by the end of today. It was a monumentous task. It was probably never going to happen. But R15 had everything to prove. They're going to be moving up for sure. And that's, I think, going to knock out at least one team moving forward here. Rambox Gaming also doing quite well. Will possibly move up too. We'll see how that works out. But definitely for sure, Navy Esports, they're out of the top 4 now. They need to bring it back in the last game of the day.
And that was absolutely foul stuff there. But you're totally right. There's other squads like ONU that were eliminated far earlier than they would have liked, which left space for squads like Rambox, who survived later on in the game and picked up kills on the way to jump the standings. But I mean, look at these shots from Garena. It was just a masterclass, really, on the use of the sniper. And snap right on the skull of ZRJ's last member on Junior here, as we'll see very soon. And yep, there it is, just removing the head. Wow, what a
Love
play
those
there.
slow-mo shots. Perfect. I mean, just brilliant. Almost, oh my, the timing on that is so perfect just before the glue wall goes down. And the rest of the team getting involved for that final fight. But that is one hell of a performance from R15. To take the booyah there, they'll take away 25 points, which propels them up into the top 4. Zundel Esports defend their position up there as well. DN Esports didn't really need many points. They got themselves 6. Not the worst performance I've ever seen. And, I mean, other teams, like the fact that Dual Kings got 11 points in that game and are probably going to be moving further down the standings because IT Official got more points, ZRJ got more points, Laonu got more points. It's so tight still. There's so much to play for in this last. I think everything down to 9th could still make it up with just a decent performance in the last game.
R15 not quite outdoing their performance from game number 1, but you are exactly right. The whole middle of the pack is pretty much our entire leaderboard, with the exception of some of the squads that are most likely already, getting locked and loaded for exiting the tournament and looking forward to the next Free Fire Pro Series, because Garena and Bestia at the end of that game were just farming. I mean, they had the most efficient plows in the world with 8 and 4 kills respectively. Sanji, who I was looking forward to with that fantastic sniper work that we've seen in the past, not even having an impact, getting knocked out early, and that just left the doors wide open for R15 to collect that booyah, collect those points. 25 of those, in fact. I am so ecstatic to check out the leaderboard, Twiggy, because R15 is in second.
They've moved all the way up to second after that amazing performance and puts them nicely in the lead. They get an 11-point boon away from Rambox Gaming in fourth, which I mean, that puts them... They were ninth at the start of today with only 40 points. They've gained themselves 81 points already and completely propelled them their way up. Average kills of 8, average placement of 5.9. Like, the comeback they've had is absolutely unreal. There is no team that has moved further than them so far. Zundel Esports have come close, but they're just missing out on that on that most improved place.
Absolutely beautiful stuff from R15. Putting that one tick in the Booyah slot as well to clean up what is otherwise a just fantastic stat sheet to be checking out. Even the fact that the average kills for multiple members are exceeding 1 means that every single game that they are dropping on the map, they are just getting close to taking out an entire 1 or 2 squads. That's just insane. That is such a difficult feat, really, to be accomplishing with the caliber of players that we have in the last chance qualifier. So now looking forward to the rest of this tournament. R15 and DN are both squads that the teams that are already qualified in the finals probably should already be worrying about.
Yeah, absolutely. DN Esports are quite happy moving into this next part. I mean, 35 points away from second. I mean, a good 46 points away from that elimination zone. So nobody mathematically is going to be able to knock them out of the tournament. They're incredibly happy about their performance over the past 2 days. Navy Esports can still come back into this. They have not had a good game today whatsoever. Not a single good map from them whatsoever today, but they can still get into this. Their first day performance has given them enough points that they're still in the game, but look how close it is in that elimination zone moving into the last map of the day.
And I mean, just going off of R15's performance, let's say for some stroke of luck, Dual Kings ends up with a 25-point booyah, right? That would propel them all the way up to 120 points, which right now is just a point off of R15. And we know R15 can drop goose eggs. We know that they have multiple 0-point games under their belt across the 4 games in the group stage, of course. And even today with that second game, I believe, dropping immediately. So it is not by any means over for even the lowliest of scores currently. So, Twiggy, one more map, one more opportunity. We've got the yellow screen there letting us know that we're about to hop into our last piece of LCQ action. What are you looking for, Twiggy?
I'm looking for Navy to do something mirroring what they did yesterday at all. I can't let them get eliminated from the tournament after such a great first day. It's absolutely unbelievable, the difference in performance they've had day after day here. I need them to at least show me that they can get involved in a game. Still, I don't know what happened over the course of the last 24 hours, but they have not had a good time in this game whatsoever. But you know what? I can't also let R15 get out of this one. I mean, they have absolutely done so well. They didn't participate in 2 of their games yesterday, and they're still now number 2, completely swapping places almost with Navy Esports on that leaderboard. So obviously they have to stay in the top 4. I can't let them drop out of there. But yeah, it's all about those other places. I mean, Dual Kings have done so well to get up into this one today as well. So really, I'm just looking for a good fight between everyone.
And unfortunately, it looks like they're immediately fighting, trying to themselves, and they found Spins early already with a kill. Dual Kings, what a way to start the final game. And I don't know what's going on in my ears, but it's plenty of bullets, a lot of them coming out of Dual Kings. Samu already eliminated as well. Dual Kings, that is a beautiful start to the final game in the LCQ. Again, we're talking at least 20 points from Dual Kings, so gotta start somewhere with your Sunrun.
Yeah, I mean, they can... Look, the likelihood of them getting into the grand finals, not insanely high. The likelihood of them being able to knock out Rambox Gaming if they do this, incredibly high. If Rambox Gaming lose out in this fight, the likelihood of them getting through is almost nothing whatsoever. They need at least 5-10 points to stay up there. They're gatekeeping it, but only by 6 points. Only by, like, a matter of 6 to 10 points from every other team there. So one other team in that 4th to 10th range having a good game could knock them out completely. Hags, they're pretty much out of the runnings, but they can also stop Zundel from getting into the grand finals if they want to. Getting some reses up now immediately after having players knocked down. But there's so much fighting going on now because there's so many grudge matches.
Excuse me, where is that member from ONU going/coming from? Curious to know what ended up happening there. Very timely moment there to pick up their down member. They had a vending machine at their disposal, which means they might re-engage with Hags here. Not quite done yet. And absent from all of these early fights is Navy, which is exactly what we're hoping for, at least in terms of their members dropping. But ONU now maybe heard the shots coming out of Hags and Zundel and said, we want a piece of this action because we have some ground to make up after what was a very disappointing 6th place finish in game number 5.
Yep. Right next to each other here. Laonu also just trying to get a few more points to get up there. They can overtake Rambox. They can overtake Zundel. They could probably overtake R15 if they had a good enough game. So getting points here for these guys is going to be really, really important. So they're actually going to play it slowly, it seems like. They don't want to get involved in this fight between Hags and Zundel.
Oh.
Hags can really do so much to stop these guys from getting through to the next stage of the tournament. And so much to prove them. Maybe they can't get into the grand finals, but they can prove themselves, prove that they could have done it at the very least. And there's Edward with another kill onto Lectra. Zundel looking at elimination, not for sure, but pretty likely if they get eliminated as one of the first 2 squads here.
You're totally right. Sometimes it's about proving yourself, right? We've come so far. Just the fact that these squads earned a spot in the LCQ and they are not just, you know, falling over dead to some of the top squads. That's a great feat.
Yeah. Let's see if they can keep this up now. Zundel down to 2 members. Only 1 point on the board. They need a lot more than that to protect their position. So they're going to rotate out. Get away from these guys as quick as possible, and then... Oh, no! What a shot! Will stop one of their Zundel players from getting away. Zeus, luckily, went a completely different direction. But that's another kill on the board for Hags, who are now being flanked by Laonu. But either way, they've done a very good job for themselves in this last game of the day.
I felt that shot in my soul, and I imagine it was so jarring holding the phone and seeing your body drop in front of you. But ONU already looking hungry for more as they're looking for this last member of Hags left on this side of the engagement. And it looks like they might be able to clean it up, but not quite the range there and not quite the sight lines. It's all about how many glue walls ISOs has left in their pocket at this point. Look at the rain of gunfire.
Yeah. Oh my god. Somehow is alive. Not for long. There we go. But Laonu is coming in. There we go. It's just that one off. Bit of a taste of his own medicine, in a way.
Oh, yeah.
He went to finish off that kill. Laonu coming from behind. Hey, there you go. Anyway, Laonu really, really need those kills. So that 1 point is going to do a lot to raise their spirits heading into this last one. They're just outside of that top 4 right now. But with the way the game has started for both Zundel and Rambox, could be looking at a pretty good chance of getting into the grand finals. We're still yet to see. Every team's still alive. Every team still has a chance of getting back into this game.
And it is looking scrappy, Twiggy. I mean, no one wants to go out without a fight, which I love and definitely respect. Zundel fully recovered now. but they have used all of their reses at least for that revival point. So now they have just a couple more attempts at this. They cannot keep falling to some of these squads that are bullying them. With a 4 stack, they have to prove themselves right here, right now. But not a terrible spot after what was essentially getting run down by multiple squads up on that height.
Yeah. Here we go. 1A on their rotation through. 1A Esports have dropped down a lot from earlier on today. They're still in the runnings to get into the grand finals. Taking out Zundel would be a massive, massive help in that task. Zundel have now taken over Lumber Mill after regrouping, getting their team back together. But 1A need to do a lot of work, and you see they're moving as a squad as opposed to Zundel, who is spread out looking for loot. Which could come in very handy as they enter this fight, but oh, Zundel open things up. In the meantime, here is Skullbreakers and ZRJ, two teams that are pretty much out of the contention for grand finals, but two teams that do have a lot to prove. Skullbreakers didn't have a great day yesterday, didn't have a great day today. Rambox Gaming are out already. Oh no, that means they're probably out of the grand finals. We'll see if anybody can overtake them. But for now, ZRJ and Skullbreakers fighting each other. A very, very long fight. No knocks yet whatsoever.
And I don't know what beef ZRJ and SKB have, but it looks like even though they're the two bottom teams, they tend to just find each other in fights the most so far in the last couple of games at least. So here, we're going to get to see them duke it out at least once more. And SKB has definitely been on the losing side more often than not. So maybe a final statement here against ZRJ. The glue walls are going down. The walk-up is there. Junior is down. Jordan might bite the dirt soon as well. Just enough recovery in terms of how to continue the fight, though. And SKB finishes at least one. Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
Yeah. Well, they'll get them back up. Skullbreakers down now. Skullbreakers completely out of the tournament. That is a guaranteed exit from the tournament. They got into the LCQs. They did not get into the grand finals after that. That is two almost bottom place. IT Official!
Oh,
also eliminated by Laonu, and they are out of the competition as well. They'll exit in 8th place at best. Oh no.
Wow. And
two teams already out.
Just hunting right now, Twiggy.
These are points they really need as well. So
Yeah.
that's incredible for them.
Absolutely. And as they walk over this bridge, it might be what bridges the gap between them and the top 4. But they have Navy and R15 to contend with later on unless they deal with each other. I think as soon as you realize it might be R15, the last thing you want is to be on the other side of Garina's scope. But they are putting on the pressure and multiple snipers to work with as well. As long as they stay up and they pressure this rock, they might find a nade or two that could eliminate this squad. They have to be careful, though, because the angles are there from Garina. And just like that, the 2-tap from Garina. This is exactly what we were talking about. The bait there, putting him in a terrible position, eliminating Chino.
Nothing flushed yet, but I mean, Navy could not have picked a worse squad to engage in to try and get the points they need to get through here. Zundel, come to their rescue. They're taking out R15 from the other side. That's massive. How many times have people attempted to save Navy's chances of getting into the next stage of the tournament and not quite had it happen? Navy's still getting fired upon by R15, even as Zundel fire down on top of them from the high ground. Navy need to get out of here. Ramon gets knocked down. 2 members left. It looks like Navy, I can't believe they're going to be knocked out of the tournament after such an amazing first day.
It's not over till it's over, but right now R15 does have the advantage both in terms of positioning and in terms of health. Oh, Bestia almost going down, and that was the member they wanted to knock of all people if they had a hope left, a sliver, potentially dying with that medkit. There's the knock there onto Bestia. Now Garina and Diablo are going to have to do the heavy-duty lifting to finish off this last member. Navy is eliminated by Garina's sniper, and what a way to go, which might mean the end of Navy's run here in the last chance qualifier we're yet to see. But Onu still alive, 1A still alive, and DK maybe still looking for that 25-point game. You never know.
That is unfortunately the end for Navy. They'll take 2 points away from that game, a couple otherwise, but they still needed, I mean, they needed 11 points at least to get into the top 4 from this game. That has not happened. I can guarantee you that much. So Navy eliminated. I can't believe that. DN Esports now firing down. Yeah, I mean, these two teams are probably through, no matter what. So this is kind of just a grudge match at this point. Who takes away first place? And R15 could technically take first place from them. It's not off the cards. It's just very, very difficult for them, especially in the situation where they're in, where DN Esports are crippling them down even further than they were by that fight between Zundel themselves and Navy. Zundel's still alive.
So with La Onu still alive as well and picking up kills on the way, they are definitely the ones that might be staking the claim to that 3rd or 4th place spot, but DK fighting it out as we see, and DN and R15 are still on the edge with, I think, a lone member of Zundel left alive trying to defend their position in the top 4 as well, taking a little bit of damage there, nearly going down, but Garena just does not stop picking up the kills from the edge.
Well, they're up to 9 kills now. These are... I mean, kills, they definitely, like, need them, obviously. There's a possibility they get overtaken by several teams. But this is definitely going to stop them from getting knocked out of the tournament. This is a lovely last game to finish things off and secure their place in the grand finals. DN Esports don't need to secure anything whatsoever, but they're going to try and gatekeep R15 out of this anyway. We can see Dual Kings on the edge of the map there, as you can see. Over towards Lumbermill now. 1A as well. Another team fighting to get into this next stage. And all of these teams need as many points as they can get through. A 15 official. Oh, gonna find it hard to get through this one. Yep. With one member. I think flush now. Yeah, and it's just Garen left. The Dual Kings getting some kills on the board. This is exactly what they need.
Oh, 100%. We're looking at 25, baby. 25 kills and at least a booyah. So, well on their way there, but DN well on their way to their graves, sent there by ZRJ, who again has to make that statement before they are knocked out of the tournament. R15 also out. So with that, our top 2 teams have been eliminated. And again, all the cards have now been placed on the table for the likes of Zundel, 1A, and even potentially Dual Kings to make a potential claim to the top 4.
Yeah, I think 1A is probably our most likely team, or was our most likely team to get all the way through this one. Dual Kings can make it happen. They are currently 15 points away from that gap, and Rambox Gaming going out so early, that means that chance is still very much there. If they get a booyah in this game, they might get their way through. This is a team that just about, by a matter of 7 points, got their way into the LCQs out of the group stage instead of getting eliminated. Ended 20th place, and then here fighting for their place in the grand finals. In this last game now, ZRJ trying to keep him out, but Dual Kings eliminate ZRJ. They're now on 5. They're on 10 kills, sorry. 2 players were knocked down. One of them fell to their deaths, but this is definitely enough. If they get any more points in this game, they've already guaranteed themselves enough points to get over the line. It's just how many points other teams can get at this point. DN Esports eliminate one more member of Dual Kings. Only 2 members left now. If they can pick up a few more points, this is massive for them. DN trying to bring back their members, I think. We will see them drop down from the sky. Wow.
DK potentially with a fairy tale story here to be completed, and they're going to drop down, potentially finish off Patojo before he can pick up a member, and 1A meanwhile doing work on the rest of the DN squad. They have the angles, they're dropping down, they're committing to this. Nieto falls, and Camus now has to clean up the last member of DN, or potentially face the elimination and the hopes and dreams of DK also being taken out with it. The revival is there. The pickup is there once again. I don't know how many times they expect to repeat this, but if they're able to clean out DN, that'll be a fantastic end to DK's run. A quadra kill, though, from Patojo, and potentially finishing off Dual Kings. There it is. The elimination in 6th with 10 kills. I don't think was enough, Twiggy.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really tight for them. I mean, it is technically enough points to get them over the line if every other team got 0 points, but this is really going to be close, especially with 1A Esports still in the running, who are right above them in the points. And they could definitely make their way up once again if they do very well here. La Onu also still in the game, only 5 points away from that push up. 1A Esports now being fired upon by the wall of hags there across the edge of this. They've got a nice bit of low ground to work with. But DN now firing down upon them. You can see Venva getting involved. Edward trying to push him out of position so that the rest of his team can stay alive, but No, the finish has come through. He just runs rings around them. Venva still firing down from high ground up there. Subri trying to stop him. They will finally get that. Zundel Esports is eliminated. Hags Esports is eliminated. Down to our last 3 teams in 1A, in DN Esports and Laonu with their single player left standing.
And it'll be a photo finish here as Onu is also still alive, but DN with 11 kills. They knew that they were potentially finishing in first place, coasting there. Might as well get the booyah on the way out, right? So right now, 2 members left alive to make it happen. They have the duo on the side of Laonu, excuse me, the solo on the side of Laonu, and the 4 full stack in 1A. So 1A can potentially find just enough points to put themselves in qualifying position. Edvin taken out by that grenade and fully flushed out as well. 1A now moving up to this final position that Patojo is going to try and hold down. If not for the pride, at the very least, 1 or 2 more kills on the way out. They are well into the zone and well out of the game. The last member of ONU will likely be taking out here very soon, and just like that, Twiggy, the storylines were so close, but the booyah is there from 1A, the last booyah of the last chance qualifiers, and a photo finish. Oh my goodness, Twiggy, I can't wait to see the scoreboard.
It's going to be so close. Did 1A Esports get enough points to overtake Laonu? I know for sure Rambox Gaming are out of this one now. I'm pretty sure Zundel Esports were taken out too early. They might stay up in third. I don't know if there's space for Laonu and 1A Esports to get up into the top 4. We'll see. It's going to be this is going to be absolutely a photo finish for 4th place. And it's really down to this is it. It's all over now. We're just waiting for the scores to come in, and then we'll be able to see who got into the grand finals and who's knocked out for good in this spring series of the Free Fire Pro Series.
There is so much on the line in this next scorecard that we'll get to watch after our highlights, including, of course, squads like Hags that made that end game statement, right? They are out of the tournament, but they are here to show that they belonged here in the first place. So Hags picking up a lot of grief kills on Zundel, who recovered a little bit later on, but were ending up in terrible positions solo, and it might not have been enough. That sniper shot that hurt everyone's souls throughout the entirety of Purgatory. IT, another squad that got eliminated early. I mean, it was just left and right disappointment from so many of these squads who are so close, but Navy being one of them, I hate to say it, but I did not want to see him go out like this.
Yeah, that's really, really sad to see. Navy nowhere near that top group anymore. In fact, they'll end, I think, somewhere around 8th, which is really, really unfortunate for a team that ended D1 in 2nd by a long margin. Everyone else just kind of made improvements. I don't know if Navy Esports sat on their haunches and just waited, but they really, really didn't make any kind of improvement today. In fact, they'll come away with 11 points. That is the worst day of anybody, I think, in any stage of the tournament so far. Laonu, there you go. You got this 2nd place, 15 points. Is it enough to overtake 1A Esports with 19 points? I can't remember what the difference was before this game. We'll see. But DN Esports also take away 19. Hags Esports, who definitely out of the runnings now, take 12. Dual Kings come close as well with 15, but they were so far away from this that I don't think they're getting through either. So we're just going to have to wait to see these overall standings to see exactly who got into the grand finals. First off, the kills. Patojo, 7 points. Edward, another 4 for that. I mean, Hags Esports finished it off with style at the very least.
Oh, absolutely. And Patojo styled on the likes of Dual Kings, which is terrible because Dual Kings was so close. I mean, we joked about it at the beginning, but at one point they were sitting on 10 kills, something we had never seen Dual Kings do throughout the tournament. Oscuro definitely part of that contribution to what was a crazy endgame lobby. 4 kills for them, 4 kills for Garena, 4 kills for Edward, and 3 kills for Lorun, who, again, is on one of those teams that might be on a 1-point margin from qualification. So without further ado, Twiggy, let's find out who we're sending off to the grand finals to fight for $50,000 and the first spot for North America in the Free Fire World Series. In first, DN Esports. Second, R15 official Zundel in third, and Laonu cleans it up with 4th. Wow, what a close race.
A difference of 3 points. 1A Esports, if they had got 3 more kills, they would have won that out. That is absolutely insane. There we go. You can see the head-to-head of 4th and 5th here. Average kills for Laonu quite a bit higher with 4.5 over 3.8. You can see the placement for 1A Esports definitely higher overall, but Laonu just take away more kills per game, and that is really the difference maker. That 0.7 per game has given them the difference that they needed over the whole tournament.
Oh, it is so impressive seeing a team just get so close, but yet so far. And Laonu just holds the line and just shuts the gates on 1A Esports and Rambox Gaming and Dual Kings even. I mean, seeing Dual Kings jump from what was a very lackluster day one to where they were at the end of today, it is so difficult to see a team like that go. There we see them tying up Rambox in 6th place. Navy Esports down to 101, barely breaking triple digits. I hate to see them go out this way, but well-deserved performance from Zundel, Laonu, and of course R15.
Absolutely massive from them, and you can see the amount of teams that tried so hard to get into this one. The amount of teams between 130 and 100 points there is absolutely massive by itself, and then everybody else not too far away. SKB, the only team that's really outside of the standings here. Hags Esports really made a push as well. ZRJ, who also had a pretty terrible first day, they made their way back up, and it's so sad to see these teams that really have drive, that really care about this one and passion for the game. They're going to be leaving us in this final stage of the tournament. They are out of the runnings to represent North America in Sentosa. They're out of the runnings for that $50,000 prize pool towards this one. But they played so well, and you cannot take that away from them. Absolutely brilliant from every team that participated in this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, I'd absolutely like to extend my thanks to the passion that these teams have shown. I mean, such a grueling group stage performance to make it here, and an even more grueling 2-day gauntlet to try and earn that last spot, right? The pressure, we've talked about it, how high octane these games were and how much was on the line. DN Esports, the squad that from the beginning was just looking like they owned the place. Venva, Edvin, Patojo, and Bad Boy making it impossible for some of these squads to do anything on every one of these maps. 4 Booyahs are 15, picking up a Booyah of their own right at the end, but the kills was where they shine today. And Garena and Bestia, there is very few snipers in North America that I think can do what that duo was able to perform in Game 5. Just absolutely beautiful stuff.
Absolutely brilliant from every team involved. Zundel Esports also making a push. Let's remind you of the top 4 before today's standings. It was DN Esports, Navy Esports who got knocked out, Rambox Gaming who got knocked out, 1A Esports who got knocked out. 2 of the people in our top 4 right now were 9th and 10th after the first day. That's R15 Official and Zundel Esports. So they've done absolutely incredibly to make their way into the top 4 today. And that's just the way this is. You know, in the LCQs, it's not about going so hard in this one, and performing consistently. It's all about your drive to push through in that second day and make your stake your claim even on the final standings.
And look at the final standings for our kills. Patojo, the leaderboard, is very clearly in their favor with 37. Garena in second with 31. Venva in third with 28. And Diablo in fourth, tying it up with Ghost with 23. What an impressive set of kill collections, really, for all of these players. We saw him pop off in almost every single game, too, so just seeing them succeed like that is beautiful. I love watching these players do exactly what they were here to do, and that was dominate in North American Free Fire.
Absolutely beautiful from these guys, and as the head-to-head of DN Patojo and R15 Garena. And I mean, Garena, absolutely massive performance. It has to be my MVP of the LCQs, bringing his team almost single-handedly as well from that 9th place position all the way into second by the end of the day. And not by a clean margin, making it an absolutely beautiful performance. It was 93 points over the whole of today, and well fought. Well, not victory, but getting through into the next stage of the tournament for them.
Yep, absolutely beautiful stuff. And what's beautiful to find out a little bit of a fun fact for anyone watching. You guys might already know this, but 3 of our top 4 LCQ teams are returners from Season 1. So we'd love to see those household names back in the mix. But without further ado, Twiggy, Let's find out which squads we will be seeing face off for the grand prize of $50,000 and fighting for that first place spot to earn their ticket to Sentosa later in May. Of course, Bizarre Esports are #1 performers throughout the entire group stage. Fuego, Team 999, Atomic, Virus Gaming, Club 90, USA Esports, Osaka, and our 4 top performers from this weekend in DN Esports, R15, Zundel, and La Onu. What a beautiful lobby we will get to witness in the next iteration of the Free Fire Pro Series.
Yeah, if you thought the LCQs were high stakes and high performance, just wait until you see the top 8 performers of the group stage along with these guys. It's going to be absolutely amazing. You can tune in onto that one on April the 1st to April the 3rd. It's going to be absolutely amazing. 3 jam-packed days of Free Fire action, and I just can't wait for this one. It'll be around next week, and I am fully excited for this. I could not be more excited to see, first off, not only, who is going to be winning the North American Free Fire Pro Series, but who's going to be representing the region over in Sentosa next month.
Yeah, absolutely ecstatic to see what these teams are going to do. You can only imagine the passion that they're going to bring to this final weekend. Again, a 3-day gauntlet, much like the LCQ, but an entire extra game day for teams to try and prove themselves, to try and battle it out, and try to claim their spot in the Free Fire World Series. But that is going to be it for the Last Chance Qualifier. My name has been Melocrit. Twiggy, thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute blast to cast this with you. Any final thoughts as we wait and just really just lick our lips waiting for that World Series slot potentially going to one of today's squads, if not one of those top 8 performers from the group stage?
Well, I'll end out today how I ended out yesterday, shall I? Let's do it like that. How do you like some BTS, Josue?
I wasn't a fan until I started to see some of the amazing stuff coming out of this collaboration. Tell us a little bit more, Twiggy.
Absolutely. Get ready to be the star in the BTS collaboration with Free Fire. You'll be able to head into the store, look through your little options, and you can unlock some of those outfits that the BTS members themselves have created. So absolutely massive cool. That's just such a cool collaboration. I don't know. Even if you're not a fan of BTS, that's just awesome. Anyway, either way, thank you for joining us here on the LCQs, guys. Can't wait to see you again for the grand finals. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be so amazing. Be around next weekend. Just thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.